Uh-oh, here we go again.
Yeah.
Travolta was in a movie like that.
Oh, we should get
I
started.
don't know what that was. Yeah, let's do it.
Alright.
Welcome everyone and all to another edition of the R-Town Podcast
Extraordinaire.
Yeah,
Yes.
What's up everybody?
How are you doing?
I am here in the Renton Civic Theatre in historic downtown Renton. And to my right on the big board is Cousin Todd.
Hi!
Almost directly in front of me is the mayor himself, Mr. Mike.
How do you do?
And ladies and gentlemen, also to my right, we have a special guest tonight.
Huh?
I'm vaguely familiar with this guy since, what is it, 23andMe
Since he
says
was your
we're
strongest swimmer?
47%
Never
DNA
seen it
related. Which is weird because I don't know where that other 3% went.
Who's the 3%?
I don't know, man. I don't know. So my son is joining us, Mr. Bailey Bressler, here tonight.
Nice to be here.
You're one of my favorite human
Thanks for
beings.
coming
Come
down.
on.
Yeah,
Congratulations on being the strongest swimmer.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It was me versus
Well,
Billy Nuggets.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say this. I've had copious amounts of sex with myself, and I know for a fact that I am a generous lover. So,
Well, thank you and good night.
Shut up, Dad. is very strong with Bailey right now.
I'm just saying, strong swimmer. I don't know where that relates, but it comes in somewhere. What's going on, guys? Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day.
Yeah.
You know, I have a sound effect for that. Hold on, where'd I put it? Where'd I put it?
I know you do.
Todd on the big board.
Where is it? Oh, there it is.
We can't hear it because
Oh, yeah,
we're too
yeah.
far away and we
Yeah,
don't have the right
so it
headphones.
must be good.
Equipment failure. But how's everybody?
Yeah, good. I was working in this theater today, redoing the dressing rooms in the back.
Okay, what were you doing in the dressing room?
Well, I was tearing out the old carpet.
Oh.
Actor's carpet. That's,
You definitely weren't installing cameras, is what you're saying.
no cameras. Oh, and the costuming, dressing room. But no, I was just grossed out by old carpet.
Yeah.
It's one of my least favorite jobs on the planet.
That's pretty
I
bad.
hate carpet.
Yeah. But I'm going to put a new carpet tomorrow. So
All right.
that's nice. We had donated carpet squares.
Okay.
So I'm doing that.
You're doing the patchwork.
It's not the same one that we did the aisles and
no.
stuff. Okay, there's probably a bunch of those.
There's
squares
still a
around
bunch of those,
somewhere,
and I save those for patch.
so- Yeah, that's a good idea.
And somebody drops that.
Good idea. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested, RentonCivicTheatre.org, where you can go and donate, or better yet, buy some tickets and come see a show.
Come to a show.
Fantastic.
They have plays and comedy shows and all kinds of cool stuff.
Concert.
Music acts.
Bands.
Oh yeah, they just had a concert
Sure
just a
did,
day or two ago. Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. Go to the events page and see what's happening.
Yeah.
Go outside.
Go outside, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little windy out there, though.
It really is today,
Like,
yeah.
they
Did
don't-
it fuck up my hair? Is my hair okay?
Your hair's okay.
All right.
Looking good.
Are you telling me that's a merkin? Come on, that's not a merkin.
No, natural, all natural.
He's got a
for
good
me.
head of hair on him. I don't know if you guys can tell from the video
Thank
or
you.
not.
No, you really do. You've always had this. So that's something.
Appreciate that.
I'm jealous, man. You actually, it's nice and thick.
Yeah.
All right.
And mine is really thin on top.
All right. Well,
My dad had beady eyes. So I got the beady eyes.
all right. Well, we all got something, right?
Thank you,
What
thank you.
47% of me did you get, Bailey?
Probably the handsomeness.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah, obviously.
Somebody's vying for a better Christmas gift next year. Yeah.
You'll remember this all through the year.
Did you get just a
Replaying this
can of
part.
soup to nuts for Christmas this year?
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm kidding.
He doesn't. Steph, I hope. I found, I am a Goodwill recycler. So I go to Goodwill, there's certain things I find. I have an online record store. So I try to find LPs, which are hard to find nowadays because everybody's trying to get them. But I also go through the books and I try to find rare books and books that are autographed. So here's a fun one, is I actually found a Senator Ted Cruz from the great state of Texas, autographed book. I can't remember the title of it. Do you remember offhand?
It was, it's the one Supreme Court seat can change America, I think is what it's called.
Yes, and he got his wish, by the way, but yeah, I found it, it's autographed, and gave it to him for Christmas, because, it's a fun keepsake.
And you can line a bird cage.
And you can, if you need to. Yes.
And you found that at a Goodwill?
At a Goodwill.
Which is about the perfect size.
Yeah.
And he, to his credit, is the first invertebrate to make it to the USA.
Indeed.
Anybody? Anybody?
No.
Is this thing on?
Yours is on. I wasn't hearing him.
No, it's just that I'm not funny.
Oh, you're funny. Maybe.
Well, that kind of leads us, because in political discussion, there's a lot happening in the news these days, as every day. But just the last couple of days, we had some fun in the House of Representatives.
We have
You guys heard this?
I think we're having some mic problems.
Yeah.
You guys able to hear me?
Oh, now I can hear.
Oh, I get maybe.
Do I just need to get really close to the mic?
Yeah, I gotta get really close to it, I think.
Is that a mix-a-lot song? I found it.
Gotta make
I
it
found
better.
it.
Maybe turn the gain up on his mic. Maybe that will help. Don't whisper.
That's worse.
Oh, anyway, so right now in the House of Representatives, the brand new Congress, what is the
118th, man.
118th
They've been doing
Congress.
this for a while.
They are trying to elect a new Speaker of the House. Of course, this past November, the Republicans took control of Congress by 5 or 10 votes, something like that. 10? Sound about right?
I couldn't tell you.
So the Republicans can't lose more than 4 votes. And
To get the speakership.
today they lost 20 plus 1 that voted present.
Right. So what he's talking about is they're trying to elect Kevin McCarthy out of California as the new Speaker of the House, but the Republicans can't get their act together to be able to get enough votes to put him in office, which has never happened for 100 years. 1923 was the last time that a Speaker of the House didn't get elected into the speakership on the first round of voting. So now they've gone, as far as we know, and they may be doing it right now as we talk, they've gone, 6 rounds?
Yeah, so McCarthy lost 6 times in those votes.
Yeah.
And it's basically like the Freedom Caucus guys, right? It's the
They're
MAGA.
psychos. They're psychos.
Yeah.
Completely. They don't believe in democracy or the rule of law at all. They gotta go.
When you lose 6 times, is that a Yahtzee?
It could be. It should be,
You
right?
like it?
So there's not a lot of options, because the guys, the Freedom Caucus guys, the MAGA guys that are blocking it, guys and gals, they can keep blocking this indefinitely, and the American people have to wait until a speaker gets elected before they can pass any laws.
Yeah,
Not that
they
they
can't even
would
seat
anyway.
the Congress room. You can't, right? They're still kind of in a limbo.
Yeah,
They're
they
not-
can't do any business
And
until
in
a
fact,
speaker.
committeeships, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
Yeah, no congressperson can be sworn in until they get
Right.
that figured out.
So technically, none of them are actual Congress people.
Yeah.
They're honorable so-and-so
Still getting
from
paid,
such
though,
and
bro.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They're still taking our money.
Yeah, but that's the trouble with radicals,
Yeah.
right? And in many respects in my life, I personally am a radical, but I can see the value in a functioning system when you have 330 million citizens and $2 trillion a year to spend on those citizens, right? You need a functional way to do these things that's organized and as close to fair as humans can make, right? We still have a long way to just and fair society, especially when reflecting our governments, blah, blah, blah. But that is what we're going for. Not a bunch of babies who poop in their pants and then get mad when you try to change their diaper, right? They're just...
Hey, this is warm. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's like, they just don't belong there. If they want a grandstand and all that kind of stuff, get a talk show like we're doing.
Yeah,
You know
we
what I
can
mean?
grandstand all
It's
we
like,
want.
that's just not the right place for them.
Right.
Right? Just like, you know what I mean? It's just not the right place for them.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Well, they always say Congress is a good stepping stone to a career at Fox News or to become a lobbyist.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
much the way it rolls. Anyway, so that's, American people are being held hostage right now. Don't know what's going to happen. There's a few likely outcomes, but which way it'll go, nobody knows.
Yeah, anybody want to make a prediction on this?
No. 'Cause
I think Steve Scalise.
They'll put him
But
up.
he's gross.
at some point,
I
yeah.
I haven't been following any of this. I'm not a politics kind of guy, so I
Yeah, I
have
think
no idea what you
Scalise-
guys were saying.
Yeah.
Scalise would probably be the logical choice.
Yeah, kind
going
of
forward.
fits that mold, but he's kind of a McCarthy
Kind of, yeah.
light
With a little more race.
sidekick.
They were talking about like, Jim Jordan, and it's like, that guy doesn't even know really how government functions.
No.
Because he doesn't believe in it, right?
Yeah.
So he's never made legislation. In
Yeah.
the entire time he's been there, all he does is yell.
Right.
He has done jack shit and we have paid him a lot of money. It's annoying.
Yeah.
That guy's annoying. And I would absolutely, if someone can arrange this for me, please do. I want to do a charity fight. Like I would fight
Like a
that
boxing
guy
match?
for charity. Absolutely. I don't care. I'll do
Boxing,
MMA. Whatever he
kickboxing.
wants. Sign me up.
Don't do wrestling though, because
Yeah, no, I'll take it. I don't care. It's
Yeah,
like
no,
it's for
you're-
charity, right? Because it's not malice.
Yeah.
But he just needs to eat some humble pie.
Well, and if they do
So-
wrestling, they can do a cage match,
well, so he
Dude.
was an assistant coach at Ohio State,
Yeah.
and a lot of people were coming forward saying that they were sexually molested by the coach, and he did nothing.
Sandusky, right? Was that
No,
Sandusky?
I don't think it was Sandusky. It was
No,
another-
that was a different rape.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was
a football
Penn
guy.
State.
Oh, yeah.
not the wrestling guy.
Sandusky, isn't that the guy from, was it Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What the
it's-
fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Anyway, moving
Fucking
on,
honest
moving on. Hey, a follow-up to, I think it was last week, we were talking about the bombings or the attacks on the substations, the electrical substations.
Oh, yeah.
They actually arrested 2 Puyallup guys for some of the attacks locally
Yeah.
on these substations.
Who said they did it so they could commit a burglary?
I saw that.
Really?
I saw the headline.
Oh,
I wasn't
that's
able
what they
to.
said?
I wasn't
Yeah.
able to read.
Yeah.
So.
But still, I mean, they're
They
still
took out
looking
like
at.
4 of them, didn't they? They attacked 3 or 4 or
Yeah,
something?
and after they did the burglary, they still attacked them.
Yeah.
So that's still kind of up in the air. So, but what kind of excuse is that?
Yeah.
It
It
sounds
was a different felony. I want to commit a different felony than this felony. It's like, and that's still federal time, man.
we
You know,
wanted-
you can squeeze these guys. You
We
really
wanted
can.
to take out the power for this one building, so instead of taking out the power for that building, we took out the power for the whole neighborhood. Yeah,
That's absolutely ridiculous.
that is the dumbest excuse I've ever heard in my life. It's like, it's almost like there's a group of people that are communicating through Telegram, whatever that app is, and they're like, we should do this would be great, this will show those libs, kind of thing. And
Well, that is a component for sure. Make no mistake.
'Cause, yeah,
Make no mistake. Yeah.
I actually,
But maybe not this particular case.
It's
but no,
possible. I'm speculating, folks.
Yeah.
I don't have any real knowledge of it. It sounds like something that would happen, because isn't that how they coordinated for January 6th? Is through Telegram,
Sure.
or was it Twitter? I can't remember. One of the two.
I don't think it would have been Twitter, but it would have been something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Telegram.
Because I set up when I first heard about Telegram, and that's where all the conspiracy nuts are hanging out. I set up an account and was like, creeping on some of the boards there to see what was being said. And I wasn't responding to anything. I didn't say anything. Now you can
FBI, open up!
Well, the thing is seriously, this is where the people that thought that JFK and his son were coming back,
Right, yeah.
like 2 years ago, and then
Yeah.
they keep pushing back the goalpost because they didn't show up. The best one that was last 4th of July, they were supposed to show up, and because they didn't show up, they think, oh, they're gonna be at that concert like this weekend that was happening in Houston or wherever. It was I think it was like the boss, what's his, Springfield. I think he was Springsteen.
Yeah.
Come on.
Springfield. I remember the boss. Come on.
They were going to go to the Springsteen concert. I mean, why not, right?
I mean, at least that part of it rings true.
That region.
Yeah.
If you can afford it.
How old would JFK be right now?
And his
90 something?
he'd be like 115 or something like that.
He's 43 when he got killed in what, 63?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to do
that.
that,
World War,
but
right? Was he on a PT boat? He's PT.
yeah, he's a
so,
World
yeah.
War II guy, yeah.
Well, the other thing is that really it makes me feel like somebody is trolling this group. That whoever's in charge of Q is just a fucking troll. is that...
Well, it is regardless.
It is, but it really makes me think that it is a troll because all these things are absolutely ridiculous, but the big one is like, not only is he coming back from the dead, but he's switching parties. He's not going to be a Democrat anymore.
Well, if you were to take his stances, he would probably be, well, I don't know, would he be more Obama centrist or would he be more...
Well, just he and LBJ weren't that far apart.
He would definitely be a
I think he
centrist
might have
because...
been a little nicer than LBJ.
Yeah.
But they were both moving in that direction.
It would be extremely hard to predict, what if you were to take somebody from 50 to 100 years ago and bring them to the modern day, they'd probably have a panic attack just seeing all the.
They'd probably die of a heart attack.
Oh, it's just so loud. Yeah. And Abe Lincoln would roll up his sleeves and just start whooping ass.
Yeah.
Like, you get a slap. You get a slap. Everybody gets a slap.
We would have Abraham Lincoln, Republican hunter or whatever that the vampire hunter movie was, and just walking around just bitch slapping all these far right people. Because from what I saw someplace on the internet, and I don't know how true this is because I'm not really politically minded. But they were saying how today's Republicans are farther to the right than 50, 60, 70 years ago as far as the Republican Party is concerned.
Well, I would say, back then, I guess at least the racist right-wingers were Democrats, but still, it's a different type of right-wing, though. Our conservatives aren't those conservatives, besides the racists. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't until Reaganomics that it was just a laissez-faire economic stuff.
Yeah. I think
Eisenhower was a Republican, right? And a military man and all that, and he's not one of these radical ding-dongs. You know what I mean? He saw the specter of autocracy up front. You know what I mean? And that's what it was.
He smashed it.
Today's conservatism started in like 99 or 2000 because that's when George Jr. became president, right?
Well, the culty Grover Norquist part where they just wanted to drown, instead of, kind of steering government and all those trillions of dollars, remember, they wanted to just dismantle it, except for like the military-industrial complex and the courts, right? And get rid of the rest of Grover Norquist, drown government in the bathtub, or, I don't know, paraphrasing. But then when Newt Gingrich came along, it just decided to dismantle even the illusion of fair play and people being nice.
Obstructionist politics.
Gone were the days of Tip O'Neill in the House versus Reagan in the White House. Yeah. And just threw civility out the window
and just said winning at any cost.
Winning at any cost.
Right, just like who's Stone, or Stone, he's Roger Stone or whatever. It's like the winning. And in sports, I kind of get that, even though cheating still is wrong, right? Because we have to be better than that. Without being
if you ain't cheating,
people
you ain't
of rules, right? Then it just ends up being barbarism.
Do people actually say that, right? Charles?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a jock.
Yeah.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Wait, what? I have been doing sports all wrong this whole time.
Speaking of AEW wrestling is coming to Climate Pledge Arena.
What?
Yeah, I just saw that.
Do they have matches already set for I've never been to a live wrestling match, but do you know who's coming to town?
Yeah, I don't personally, but yes, it's easy to.
They know.
Yeah. I haven't been to a wrestling event since like early 2000s, and I think I mentioned this on the last podcast, but it was probably the coolest thing I ever saw, and if I hadn't gotten those tickets for free, I would have probably never gone, because I don't know, I like watching it occasionally on TV, but I didn't see the point in seeing it live.
It's way better live.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I honestly don't remember much.
There's beer involved.
I remember...
Because beer makes everything better.
Well, there you go. That's why I didn't have as much fun. I remember having fun, but I think that the coolest thing about that experience is that Batista walked right past me.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, oh my God, that guy's fucking huge.
I read an article.
That guy looks like he bench pressed a Volkswagen bus.
I was reading about Batista today, who says he's happy he's no longer going to play Drax. The Drax thing is over. Mostly, I think it's probably because of the makeup and stuff, and I think he's just tired of the character and wants to go do more dramatic stuff.
Does he now?
Stuff like that. But he's coming in that movie we talked about last week.
Oh,
M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan. He was just in that new Glass Onion movie that just came out on Netflix.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's right. No, I haven't seen that.
His character was actually probably one of the better characters in that movie.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody's ever asked him to deliver more than he has, so I can't really say that he's really good or not really good. But
I saw a story where he said he didn't want to do acting because he saw how like other wrestlers, when they first started acting, they were all like action heroes, and you go, I don't want to do that, but
what else are you gonna do? You're like 7 feet tall and 300 pounds of muscle. I mean, come on.
I mean, he's basically
Shakespeare in the Park.
Yeah, totally. He's all just like Romeo, just like, hey, you're 40. You're really Romeo.
He's done all those same characters that Cena and The Rock have all done. The big dude who's like the hero of some sort, and he's done like the dumb jock kind of characters too. So, I mean, that's kind of what Drax was. He was not real bright, and.
Yeah.
He was like, well, honestly, I think he was a bit autistic, that character. So
was it that, or was it just because his race didn't understand metaphors?
It's
sarcasm.
The reason why he even said autism, or even on the spectrum, you see, is he's very literal. I mean, he doesn't understand nuance at all.
Yeah.
Did they have autism in Drax's homeworld, though?
Yeah, I don't know if his homeworld exists.
His homeworld got destroyed by Thanos, right?
Yes.
So he's got a case of the SADs.
Yeah.
Never got a case of the Mondays.
I thought that Batista's performance in Blade Runner 2049, as short as it was pretty good.
Oh, he played one of the replicants, right?
Yeah. He was the gardener guy.
Yeah. Watch that again.
I wasn't impressed by it, but I wasn't impressed by the original either. So.
Yeah, that's Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, man, And I think he really likes Ridley Scott.
I think that's probably the problem. I don't understand a lot of Ridley Scott's movies. They don't really register with me. So.
Yeah. Even Legend of Tom Cruise.
That was Ridley Scott? I actually like that one.
Tim Curry is the devil. What more do you need?
Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why I like that
Curry
movie.
all the time.
Right? Did you know, here's a little bit of Curry trivia for you. He was the original voice for the Batman the Animated Series Joker before Mark Hamill took it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
They gave it to Mark because Curry's character, they said it was too dark and too scary. They didn't want the kids to get freaked out.
Yeah, you're scaring adults and children too.
So that's
he's just coming off a hit.
That's why Mark took over and he made him a lot more playful, even though he was seriously demented and he was crazy as fuck. But yeah, he was more playful.
All right, make a petition: Tim Curry in a Joker-themed horror movie.
Nice.
I think he died, though.
No, he had a massive stroke, so he's in a wheelchair.
Who did? Tim Curry?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear about that.
He does a lot of like Zoom call type convention things where he does video calls with people, and I saw a video of him. And
is he on a cameo?
I think he actually is.
I might pay for that.
Oh yeah.
I think he actually is.
Just have him say hi, Mike.
And have him quote from Legend. That's actually, I think that's the reason why I like that movie so much. Not because Tom Cruise is in it, because he's fucking awful and everything, but he plays the same guy in every fucking movie. Prove me wrong.
Magnolia. No, but he is playing Tom Cruise.
I mean, he's Tom Cruise as
really well.
The Outsiders.
Oh man, you're in the Wayback Machine.
I'm going back Taps.
Yeah.
That was back before the team.
Honestly, I think
Before
the
he got
only
his
movie
teeth
where he doesn't play himself is when he's in a bald cap in that Tropic Thunder movie.
Which is incredible.
That was incredible.
Oh yeah, that's incredible.
I honestly didn't know who that was until I looked at the credits. I'm like, that was fucking Tom Cruise.
Oh no, he goes bonkers. It's wonderful.
We'll say he plays the same character in every movie after he got his teeth fixed.
Yes.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
is that what it is? I didn't realize he got his teeth fixed.
Oh yeah, if you look at Taps and
Risky Business,
Outsiders and Risky Business, stuff like that. I think it was right around the Risky Business time frame that he might have went and got the veneers, which I've been saving my money for as well.
Yeah, I do all my own dental work.
All right, let's get on to another topic. How about this? Here's a sad story,
Ah.
if you know who he is. A local radio legend
Dory
here in
Munster.
Seattle
Yeah.
has passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, relatively young, right?
And 50-something or early 60s?
I thought he was 61.
Mid to late
All right,
mid to late
that's
50s.
too early,
I thought.
yes, maybe, man.
He was in his early 60s. We talked about it yesterday on my other podcast, and those guys knew more about Dory than I did. I recognize the name.
Yeah.
Sure.
'Cause he's,
I
been
used to
there
be
for a
a
while.
delivery
Yeah.
driver when I was in college in the early 90s, 91-ish time frame. Anyway, only thing in the van was an AM radio, so I was kind of limited. It was like country music or
KVI?
sports, KVI, stuff like that. So I used to listen to Dory in the afternoons, and back then he seemed fairly moderate, right?
Yeah, the radicalization thing came later.
Yeah,
It's
it came way later.
And he was sports mostly, right, for a long, long
He
time.
did sports for a
Yeah.
long time. He did a lot of the Seahawks pre and post game stuff until he got busted for making some bad transgender personnel remarks.
oh, that's not
Said
good.
some crappy things, and they kicked him off the air on that and suspended him for
Yeah.
a while. Cairo did.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Cairo.
so if you knew, I mean, he was a legend here in our area. I can't say I agreed with much of what he said, but the way he said it made me think about what he was saying from a different direction, right? Because I come in it with my own preconceived, my own thoughts, but listening to him talk made me go, huh, maybe he has a point. And then I'd have to kind of wrestle with myself to figure out where I really stood.
I think that is probably the only upside to like people who have really far right leaning ideologies, that they make you think, they make you go, well, that was bullshit, you know.
And this
Well,
is
like a
part
Rush
of it.
Limbaugh,
And,
right?
yeah.
That would just,
It's-
you hear
but
his
also
voice
it's-
and you want to pull your teeth
And
out.
just, just like with the Andrew Tate thing or whatever, it's like,
Rush Limbaugh,
because of mass media, it gets amplified, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, that's the only dangerous point in it, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, to me?
Yeah.
And don't forget, especially, I mean, any of them, but they set up a framework, right? There's usually a board of directors and some giant corp somewhere who say, well, these are the subjects in from this point of view,
Yeah.
right? So it's, that I do find to be dangerous.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up Andrew Tate.
Oh!
Andrew
Because
Tate.
we got my list of stuff to talk about.
Did you say Andrew Tate?
Andrew Tate.
Oh, Tate. I think you said
that's-
Tate.
And I didn't know much about this
Me
guy
neither, really, but it came up
beforehand.
and it's-
But
He's
Yeah.
really, really big, or was really big on TikTok. And he was doing lots of like, this is how you get, he's basically this generation's Tom Likas. He was all about
Oh
like,
man,
that's
that
good
is terribly accurate, I think.
Yeah.
Well done, Todd.
yeah, I was trying to think of that guy. He's like that fat guy who had a morning or an afternoon
he was
show.
the cowboy hat wearing Tom
He
Likas.
got
Yeah.
kicked in the head when he came to Washington. Remember
Yeah.
that? Somebody just walked up and
You
did a
know,
snap kick to his face.
I used to listen to the show just because it was really kind of, the amount of things that were said on that show that were just like, wow, I can't believe they actually allow that on the radio, you know?
Yeah, but Andrew Tate got probably the most epic takedown that I have ever seen on Twitter.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
If you could personify Twitter into a very large aluminum baseball bat and watch it take somebody out at the knees, this would have been the takedown.
Yeah, and the best thing though, I still think this is absolutely hilarious, is the comment that was made by Greta Thunberg, or however her name is said. She's like, and this is why you recycle your pizza boxes.
Well, Bailey's been following this. Why don't you tell us what happened, if you remember the details?
Yeah, so basically, the Romanian authorities had him under investigation for a number of months now in regards to human trafficking. There was allegations among 6 women that Andrew Tate, his brother, and a few other associates were basically running a human trafficking ring and sexually exploiting these women.
He made a lot of money off of like webcam sex things, right?
Yes.
I think he had
Faded view.
OnlyFans, yeah.
And it like if you look through his videos, it's like he even brags about it that he had all these girlfriends from around the world, and he said, well, how do I make money off of them? And he has them all come over to Romania to his compound and basically manages their cam girl career. And the allegation is that they're not allowed to leave, that they're forced to.
Passwords or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so making all this money, and I think he started out as like a kickboxer or something, made a little bit of money, and he was on Big Brother.
Oh, was he really on Big Brother?
Okay.
I was trying to remember.
He got kicked off the show, I believe. I don't know the details on that, but with his riches, he has a pretty extensive car collection that he brags about, and whether it's true or not, but he said he's something like 33 supercars, like Bugattis and Ferraris.
Yeah.
So this masterful wordsmith decided to go after Greta Thunberg, who is a Swedish, I believe.
She's an activist.
She's a young
like
gal.
16, 17.
She's 19 now, but she started at 16. Became a worldwide phenomenon because she would take on world leaders and talk about climate issues and stuff.
Yeah, like do something.
Do something.
Yeah, I mean, and she's not a radical.
Wasn't she sailing around the world too to deliver these messages? I'd have to look back at it because I think I remember she sailed across the Atlantic.
Jeez, if she sailed across the Atlantic, she's a badass.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that. Yeah.
So this guy decided to tweet at her, right? And say a picture of him filling up one of his supercars, right?
His Bugatti,
making the quote signs, and talked about what kind of engine it has and how much gas it takes, and then asked her if she would like him to send a list of his car collection and their emissions to be funny, right? To get his crew.
Like he's owning this kid.
Because
he's an adult, right? I'm not making that up.
Yeah, he's 36.
Yeah, I mean,
you're going after a 19-year-old, really?
I don't know.
Yeah. So he sends that tweet out, and then she replies sometime later, not that long later, same day. Sure, send it to smalldickenergy@getalife.com, and it was just, bam, just destroyed, right?
Yeah.
So.
Because I think that's pretty much what everybody's thinking under the surface is like this guy's obviously compensating for something.
Yeah. And or just a straight up super douche. The kind of douche where you're like, dude, don't come over to my house. You're
well, and that's what I think is the most concerning thing to me is you have all these young men mostly. I mean, there's probably some females out there that follow him, but there's a lot of young men out there that are looking up to this guy and saying, I want to be like him. I want that lifestyle. I want the Bugattis. I want the money. I want the nice house. I want multiple girlfriends.
The image, and what do you want to bet? The image he's portraying on his Twitter and on his Instagram and TikTok is it's 100% fabricated.
To a large degree.
100%, but I bet it's exactly.
Well, I mean, like 99.999%. The vast majority
that sort of
of
thing is
fake.
a product, right? And there's nobody on television that doesn't have a spray tan and fucking makeup and all that. And TikTok's no different. These people don't. I mean, it takes time and effort to look this way and behave this way and all these kinds of things,
He
But
looks like
again,
to
with
me.
him, it's the framework, right? Because when we watch and listen and spend time being inundated by this type of messaging, right? It's the framework because then it's harder for us. Then we have to swim out.
He literally
to see the
looks
larger picture,
like one of those guys who wants to be like a kickboxer but doesn't
I can
actually.
fight that guy too. As long as we're at it, sign me up. I'll fight that guy any way he wants to fight. I don't care.
He presents himself in such a way that he looks like he could be a kickboxer, but I don't think he's ever trained it ever in his life.
No, he did. No,
he's won titles.
Yeah.
Oh, he has?
Yeah, he's won like 4 titles.
I was gonna say he just looks like a total poser to me. I mean,
He looks to me like if you took a large bottle of that cologne Drakkar Noir and waved a magic wand over it and created a person out of it.
Honestly,
that's who it would be.
Charles, I think he bathes in Axe body spray. I think he pours out this Axe body spray into his bathtub.
Axe is the Drakkar Noir
today.
Yes, today. Right? Yeah.
Drakkar is super 80s, bro. They still don't have anything. The Latino's bathroom still has Drakkar Noir.
He soaks in it so much that he sweats that shit. It just comes out of his pores.
Accept to be better as
well, so
man, but as man in the 21st century, which, I mean, there's a decent possibility this is the twilight of humanity.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Let's not be dumb about it.
This could be the decline, right, of civilization.
Yeah.
You just have to use your brain and just understand, what the actual message is, because what all these online personalities do is they try to suck you in with say a fact or something like 90% of men between the ages of 18 to 25 are still virgins. That's a problem. Right, that's the sort of thing that they would say, and I could throw out some random statistic at you, and if you're a part of that group,
and just for $9.95 a month, you too can learn how to get laid.
You can join Hustlers University today and become.
And that's what he was running, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
really? Did he?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
I thought that was fiction.
No. I actually know a kid that joined Hustlers University because he wanted to make some money. And
wait, does he own the rights to Hustler?
No. It's not connected to Hustler.
No, it's like Big Money Hustler.
So he's not stealing from Larry Flynn
estate with
that guy's got lawyers.
It's not connected to that whatsoever. But yeah, Hustler University is basically, and just to briefly summarize what it is, it's basically this online university that you can sign up for. It's $60 a month, and you can learn about how to invest in crypto or online real estate or
that's how I heard about this
copyright.
dude, is that he was doing all these crypto. You know how I talked about if you expect that audio thing you can do on Twitter? He was doing some of those audio things on Twitter where he tells people how to do crypto and how to make money off of it and stuff.
Yeah.
And the big thing and why all of his videos got circulated was because it was an affiliate marketing program where these young kids were reposting his videos all over the internet with a link to join Hustlers University, and if somebody clicked on it and signed up for it, that person got a small commission.
Jeez.
That's a
It's brilliant.
Way to market. It really is.
It's brilliant,
But
but
it's
scary.
garbage. You know what I mean? Why that could be a permaculture course.
And it's,
you know what I mean, or something.
It's the biggest grift I think I've heard this year, or in the last year. Because he has like 100,000 active subscribers, and if you're talking $60 a month for each of them,
is it a bigger grift than the digital trading card for Trump?
Oh no! Nobody can top that. That's definitely towards the top of the list there.
Do you guys remember? I think in the early 2000s, maybe it was a little later. There was a guy on MTV or VH1 that it was a reality show where this guy would teach nerds like me how to pick up women. Right? He used to wear the pickup artist. He used to wear a crazy hat with goggles, like steampunk goggles. And it was a friggin' reality show where he would go out.
Oh wow! I didn't think that was a real show.
It was a real show.
All MTV does.
I don't think it ran for more than maybe a season or something, but it kind of reminded me of that.
It was probably MTV because I don't think VH1
does. And I mean that sort of thing gets sold all the time. It's not. Right.
If it wasn't,
they
be
had
somebody else.
They had them in the back of comic books, right? How to, get your body.
Hey, and if you folks at home want to learn more about this, you can send
Charles Atlas.
$5 at my PayPal, and I'll tell you everything else you need to know.
Before that is your snake oil salesman.
Right. Yeah.
Except for Scott Lee,
or what I mean. It's just part of the human capacity to want to believe in something of substance. It allows us to believe in something.
Just don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain.
That kind of thing. And just because we also have the capacity for us, them, my team, your team, as long as we have something to push against, whether it's the devil or nerds or push, you know what I mean? Then that makes us. As long as it's my team, as long as I have a team, right? It's weird. It's weird, but that's part of being.
Well, the funny thing about all this is that at the end, for him, is that he went after her again after she mentioned the size of his manhood. He posted a video where he's smoking a cigar and he's sitting at a table and he's bitching about it. He's like, "Oh, well, thank you for confirming to the world that you have a small penis and all this stuff." And it's like, no, I don't, but you do, kind of a thing, right? And,
Yeah, that was his comeback.
That was his big comeback.
It's like, I know you are, but what, like...
You went full Pee Wee Herman. I know you are, but what am I?
Towards the end of the video, somebody brings him a couple of pizza pies, and he brags about how he's not going to recycle the pizza boxes and stuff. And
well, so I know where you're going with that,
Yeah.
but I've heard conflicting reports that Romanian authorities already knew that he was in country because he was posting.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not hiding, where he's at any given time. He had just come back from the UAE.
It takes a lot of prep to, especially a compound that you can assume if he's doing crime, he's got guns.
yeah.
Right.
Or
They
somebody
did
there
find guns.
does.
They did find guns.
Somebody on site would, right? I would.
Yeah.
If I'm doing crime in a foreign country, fucking A, dude. Go all the way.
Especially in Romania or other parts of Eastern
I bet
Europe.
there's and I've got roots in Romania, but there's some organized criminals there that would make you blush. Oh, man.
Man. Yeah, so he got arrested that evening or the next day and went to jail, and he's waiting jail, and the prosecutor went to the Romanian judge and asked that he be held for an additional 30 days while they make all these charges, because he's a flight risk, right? He's a British-American passport holder.
Right.
Who
He holds,
is
I
well
think,
traveled and has a lot of money.
if I remember correctly.
Because you can fly anywhere if you got money.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he was bragging that he holds like 7 passports.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember to what countries, but I think he's one of those folks that does like the citizenship by investment.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's
What
in
he's
one of the old
talking about.
Soviet prisons then.
Investment, so you can buy citizenship. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
A
so-
Romanian prison in the winter. Nope, I'm good.
No, thank you.
But fuck sex traffickers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, are we not done with like exploiting women? I know, obviously, it's a rhetorical question.
I
But
mean,
can
it's
we
never going
please-
to end.
Can we be done with that?
Yeah.
Can we be done
It's-
with pimping out
Yeah.
other humans? Can we be done with it?
As much as I appreciate Gene Roddenberry's ideals, I don't think we're ever going to make it to that.
Well, not in our lifetime.
Well, not with that attitude.
I mean, we can try. We can do our
Not
best.
until we build that flux capacitor. No, it's the dilithium crystals.
Yeah, we need the dilithium crystals.
Yeah, we talked about that already.
Compensators.
Damn it.
Favorite things to say.
All right, so Andrew Tate, epic takedown. Was that in 2022 or was that in 2023?
That was
22, right? So it's like hold my.
God,
so
I-
every
it was
other
time is
takedown
flying.
of the
Yeah,
year,
because we're what, 5 days
she was
in,
like,
yeah.
hold my beer.
I think he got arrested like in the last few days.
Yeah, it's only the third.
All right, well, yeah. So it may, yeah,
So it
that
could have been
starts
on New
with
Year's
yeah.
Eve. Who knows? Maybe it was at the stroke of midnight.
Well, good for him.
And
for
then
getting
plus,
arrested.
I want this. Because most
We're
of
happy
my life
for
is
you,
just kind of all
Andrew.
blurred
It couldn't
together
have happened
into
to a
one
more
neat
deserving person.
experience. But let's slow down 23. If it's because is this day 6?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, it goes so
Wow.
fast. Goes so fast.
it goes so fast. Shit, man, that's all I got for news. Oh, I got one other story that came up. Have you guys heard about Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye himself?
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday
I just
too.
don't know what
It was-
happened. But
So,
yeah, I saw it.
from what I read yesterday, and we talked about this, but is basically he has a snowcat and he was trying to dig his car out, and he hopped out to do something, and I guess it wasn't in park, and started moving, and he tried to jump back on it, and
Back
he
on it.
and he
Yeah.
he had 2 surgeries in the last 48 hours for chest and like his legs and feet.
Oh man.
So he got himself really fucked up.
Yeah, orthopedic surgery, and then he had a big gash in his chest or something. Lost a ton
No,
of blood.
yeah, no.
And
Yeah.
And the interesting thing,
So
I
that's
mean,
something.
we've been to Tahoe, my son and I, in the wintertime, and the snow is no friggin' joke over there.
Yeah, they say when the Donner Party tried to move through, that the snow was like 27 feet
Yeah.
or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought that place was all sunny and like.
No, not in the wintertime. I mean, it's sunny, but not in the wintertime.
Some good skiing and
snowshoeing, stuff like
and-
that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't. I thought that was one of those like Hollywood kind of destinations that's all palm trees and shit.
Yeah, the interesting thing about him is, I guess he
No, that's
moved there a while ago, bought himself a 6-acre ranch, quote unquote, doing air quotes again. but,
Air quotes, yeah.
but calls it the Horsepower Ranch because he has like 200 vehicles on there.
Jeez.
But the fun thing is that he is part of the volunteer fire department for that city or county
Nice.
that he's in, and a lot of his vehicles are actually old fire engines that he restored to work.
Oh.
And he's like, hey, you need a pump truck? Here you go. You need a ladder truck?
That sounds like what you would do. Because you've always talked about wanting to get the fire truck.
Yeah. Love to have a fire truck.
No, they're really neat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, kidding me would just be like,
BTO.
giddy.
Yeah, no, they're great.
I have to say, one of the funnest things in playing the game Grand Theft Auto is the mission where you have to steal a fire truck. So
Yeah. I haven't played GTA. Did we ever have GTA? We played
No, I don't
We
think.
had Driver.
Yeah, GTA was never really a thing
man.
until I got older.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
I
Red
definitely
Dead.
played it.
We had, I'm trying to remember some of the other games I let you play, which I probably shouldn't have because you're all fucked up now.
Oh my god.
Probably the worst one was.
We'll edit that out.
I think the worst one was probably Max Payne.
Max Payne, that's the
Max
one.
Payne, bullet
Yeah.
time.
There's an 11-year-old
Yeah.
playing Max Payne.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude.
I need help. Find me some painkillers.
Oh man, yeah, I like. Well, one of my favorite genres of video games is first-person shooters. So, and GTA is both a first-person shooter and a racing game. So that's two genres of gaming that I fucking love. So, I have only been playing GTA 5 for like the past couple of years. I have it on my PlayStation as well as my PC, depending on whatever I'm on. If I decide I want to play it, as long as
Yeah, it's a
open it up.
fantastic game.
And it's a great game.
Rockstar? Makes it.
It's Rockstar, yeah.
Yeah.
Rockstar North makes it.
Sure.
And I don't like playing the online version because I don't like playing against a bunch of 12-year-olds who like to talk about my mom. So, you know.
Not my mom. She was a great old gal.
I really don't want my feelings to get hurt.
I legit, I just like, you know what?
With
I
no
don't.
accountability at the thing.
Did you ever play online on Call of Duty Modern Warfare back in the day?
No, but I used to play on Black Ops.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Black Ops, they're just as brutal on there.
Yeah, those are the most toxic.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did
yeah.
Halo and it was rough. Plus, they were really good. You know,
I absolutely hated playing the Halo online because everybody was like a jumping beat. I was like, will you sit fucking still?
No.
That's why I could never get into Fortnite, was because I could never figure out the building, like, because people, like, you'd be shooting at them and then just start building a building in front of you, so you couldn't shoot them anymore. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to get ahead?
I played
Your hard hat,
that
mister.
I played that game for all of 20 minutes, and I was like, yeah, no. Well, number one, there's too many people. And you don't start with anything. You don't start with anything. So you have to collect the stuff before you can start building and shooting people. So if people are hanging out in spawn areas, you get killed as soon as you appear.
Sure, yeah. But that's just concentrated evil. Everybody knows that, you know?
Yeah, I give up on any time there's a game where you're like, you know, if people can hang out in the spawn point and they just shoot you as soon as you appear,
Yeah.
like, fuck you, get out of here with that shit.
Yeah, no, that's bad.
That's like the worst way of cheating, is hanging out by a spawn point and just waiting for someone to appear so you can, you know, you can
Bonk 'em on
you can
the-
frag them as soon as
Donk.
they show up, you know.
Unless they're friends of yours. Then it's
Oh,
perfectly okay.
that aggravates me even more.
Or
because you
family.
should know
Yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah.
Friends and
Oh, yeah.
family.
I think that's fine.
Just make sure to teabag after a kill.
Yeah.
That's also a thing that was invented by fucking Halo people. God, no. I'm an old school first person shooter, like multiplayer gamer. So back in the day, me and my friends used to play Quake and Doom, and we would do like an old school like LAN party. So we'd have all of our computers
Sure.
in the same room and on the same router even, and you know. Or sometimes it would be in different parts of the house.
Yeah.
But you could hear them from the other side of the house. God damn it, you fucking asshole! You know. But yeah.
Good stuff,
That's
man.
why I play. That's why
Right
I play
on.
these days.
Todd, were you one of those guys that had multiple plastic bottles that looked like apple juice but weren't really apple juice?
No, I was the guy that would be mad that I got fragged because I stepped away to go pee.
Is that something that Ed would do?
That would be it. Yeah. I had a roommate for a while, business partner,
Oh, man.
that would not leave his room for
Yeah.
nothing playing video
It shows
games.
perseverance.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, if my room had a door to it, I would, you know, open the door and, you know, do what I have to do and then close the door and go back to what I was doing.
Yeah.
I've done that kind of thing before.
Maybe a chamber pot.
Mom, toilet.
Packet, man. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else got any other news stuff that they were reading about, interested in, wanted to share?
Did you guys hear about the thing with Whoopi Goldberg?
Briefly.
Yeah.
That she's now
She needs
canceled,
to
right?
stay away from talking about Jews
Yeah.
and the Holocaust.
Well, basically,
Yeah.
from what I understand,
Oh my
she
God.
said that she's saying that being a Jew is a religious thing. It's not a cultural thing. It's not a.
It
It's not
depends
a.
on who you talk to, right? 'Cause
Right.
I've made a similar argument, right?
But yeah, that's what got her in
But-
trouble. So basically, people are asking for her to
A
get.
cultural thing or a racial thing?
They're saying that
That would be the racial
she
thing.
was saying it's
Okay.
not
Yeah.
about race.
Yeah.
It's about religion, and that's what got her in trouble.
Well, if you're saying
And then the
Davis
second
Jr.
one-
was a Jew, but if he was going to get stabbed by a redneck, it would be because he was a black man, not a Jew. Right? See what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
So,
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
don't know. But I don't know. Because if you know,
And that's the
go to
thing.
Israel, there's a vast, wide variety of what people look like.
Yeah.
Right?
The thing
Not-
was,
and I would just say the Yids aren't really Semitic people,
yeah.
right? But that makes me unpopular in parties.
We were talking about this last night, and none of us are Jewish. So I was like, I've heard that being Jewish wasn't just a religious thing; it was a cultural thing. It was it was the people. It was.
Well, and that's how that follows through the mom's
Well,
genes.
so
Right?
I'm gonna-
If your mom is a Jewish descent, then you're of Jewish descent. Right? So it does. It's kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah,
That's what I thought,
what always
yeah.
confused me too, because you can convert to Judaism.
yeah, it's kind of like three different things. Like you can convert to Judaism, your mom could be a Jew, or you could be like say in my case, I'm a quarter Ashkenazi, and you could be
I
of an
liked you from the
ethnic.
start, kid.
What was that?
I knew I liked you from the start.
Okay, I'll be the stupid white guy. What is that?
Yeah, so there's different ethnic groups that trace their lineage back, to
Sephardics.
Sephardics. What's the other one? The Meth. I have to look it up. I don't want to give you guys wrong information, but the biggest one is the Ashkenazi Jews, and it's a huge.
It's a
group
different
of-
sect of Judaism.
No, it's not a sect of Judaism. It's actually a distinct ethnic group.
Would you call it a tribe?
I wouldn't say it's a
Not
tribe.
the
It's
same age,
it's more of an ethnic group because when Jews migrated to Europe, they basically stayed in their own villages. Had their own. There wasn't a lot of intermingling with other populations, so they.
And the same could be said for about every other
Right.
religion,
So
ethnicity, etc. That was very common.
How is that different than a tribe?
well, I mean.
Might be the language.
It's
just
terminology, I guess
because-
it's different. It
Some
sounds the
tribes
same
have
though.
specific leadership,
Yeah.
right? You got
that makes sense.
you know what I mean, like a chieftain or a shaman or a.
So like some famous Ashkenazi Jews, could include like Albert Einstein or who else? There's lots of them.
Well,
out
you're in
there.
good company right there.
Yeah.
You can't.
But and also they don't just speak Yiddish, right? They would because there's Russian, Jews. There's what I mean. It's like so there's
I
a
don't.
primary
That's why I was like-
language that's one.
I was raised by
right?
Catholics, so I know nothing.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing because back in the day Catholics would also speak Latin and their local language,
Yeah.
right? But not so much anymore.
My grandmother was from
Or a
the
lot of,
Republic of Ireland, so
Muslims
it's not the part
can
that's
speak
owned
Arabic
by
and their local
English.
language.
Right.
So that kind of breaks down the kind of,
Yeah.
it opens it up to a larger ethnicity.
Yeah, it was the, it's escaping me right now, was the original book, not Torah, but Muslim one.
Oh, the Quran.
The Quran, was that originally written in Arabic?
I would think so,
I
yeah.
would think so
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
Because I think
is-
that's, you get,
Anastasia, is that what you said?
if you're a
Ashkenazi.
Ashkenazi, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are those the guys that have the
teach,
hair?
I think 5 people.
No, you're thinking of
read and
Hasidic
write
Okay.
Jews.
Arabic.
That's a sect
You
of
get set
Judaism.
free.
I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
specifically
Yeah.
about an ethnic
So it is
group.
part of,
Oh, okay.
it is part and parcel.
Again, I'm
That's
It's
the
okay.
accepted,
Not knowledgeable in those things.
perspective.
So, I'm learning things, folks.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, right?
It is.
The
But
more
a
you
lot
know.
of that is just kind of, it depends on who you're talking to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that's the way.
Company.
I think that's the way it is.
No, there's actually somebody.
Oh, no, it's a human.
Someone walked in the door, yeah. I didn't see who it was. Oh. It's,
All right, where were we before we were so graciously interrupted?
Yeah,
things
she's
and
the
stuff.
sound wizard. She does
Nice.
sound and lighting and
Nice, yeah, we met her last time, right?
wizardry.
So, anybody else got any other news, either happy, sad, or indifferent, that they would like to share?
Because, yeah, we talked about the successful fusion thing in Lawrence Livermore. Was that a week ago? Was that 2 weeks
A
ago?
couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, William. There's Bill Holes, theater manager, artistic director, and all-around main dude
Main dude.
at the Renton Civic Theatre.
His hair's shorter since the last time I saw him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got it hidden.
Yeah, he's liking one. Yeah.
Right on. Right on. All right, well, 2023, I thought it might be fun if we chatted a little bit about one Nostradamus and his predictions for 2023 this year. What do you guys think about that? Anybody watch a lot of History Channel and
In the early 2000s,
In
the
the early
Nostradamus
Sure,
effect,
yeah.
or
They had all
whatever it's
the
called.
Nostradamus shows, but they talked about Nostradamus in a few episodes of Ancient Aliens. That's kind of where, what little bit I know of it, has been from that show. They talked about, not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens, kind of thing. But, yeah.
not saying it's aliens, but it's probably aliens.
Yeah.
I can't figure out how to do it. It's got to be aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there is no
Yeah.
possible way we could have done that without current technology, so therefore it must have been aliens. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Nostradamus, but I've heard, his...
Yeah.
And it's written in such a way, it's like a quadratic...
Quatrains.
Quatrains,
They're
yeah.
called quatrains.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're in like multiple languages, and they're like they're essentially what QAnon was trying to do. They're trying to do like their version of his quatrains. They're like they're brief sentences that
Is that where
have
Q
no.
comes from?
yeah.
Quatrain.
Probably, you know what? That's probably
Probably is.
possible. Yeah.
But he
Quatrain
was an
Anonymous.
Italian fellow? Where was this Nostradamus? Is Italian or is he?
He is a French guy, right?
No.
Yeah. I thought it was
I've
Italian,
got
but
some
maybe it's
news.
French.
Yeah, French guy, back in 450 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah,
How it goes?
I feel the presence of someone.
That's Bill Holtz, theater manager, artistic director, all-around dude.
All around theater dude.
This is the man,
The myth.
the legend. He's not really here, folks. No, don't mind him. He's just a pigment of your imagination.
Pigment?
I meant that.
I don't know.
Figment, but
But
exactly. It was a dumb joke.
No worries.
I'm good. What's new at the
for this
theater?
week and next week?
Nice.
You can do it this week. No, next week there's rehearsal.
Good to see you.
Sorry.
Like this is some kind of functioning working
I'm just giving them a
theater.
bad time.
I don't care.
10 or 11 months. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as like Nostradamus,
Anything bad?
he always would write things in these short, brief, and they didn't make any sense when you read them. You had to like have, you had to know what he was meaning, because they were like riddles, I think, right? Did you say riddles?
I would more or less call them just vague prophecies at the end of the day.
Like-
I mean, they were kind of like riddles. Like I think it gives you like enough context to say, oh, I can imagine somebody or an event happening based on what he's saying.
It gives you the illusion of there's some sort of prophetic thing going on, and you can like basically these things could be like, I bet you he meant this, without having any knowledge of what he actually meant by it.
Yes, some of the ones that they say kind of came true was he predicted Hitler
Yes.
would rise to power in Europe, and what he did was he called him Hister, so he was off by a couple of letters.
And if I remember,
Is that true?
yeah, and if I remember, yeah, he actually wrote that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, the reason why they tied it again to Hitler, and like shadow of a doubt, is because he said that he would come from the land of the Danube. So if you think about it, because Hitler was born in Austria,
Right.
you know, that's where the Danube flows through. It kind of makes a little bit of sense.
No, because it becomes the Rhine and Germany.
No. Well, the Danube separate river,
No.
but it does connect at some point.
I think he also
You know,
predicted
who-
like the assassination of President
Supposedly
Kennedy.
the assassination of Kennedy.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you, look it up, Wikipedia, whatever.
Google's it, your friend.
Google it. But the assassination of Kennedy predicted 9/11
Yeah.
and predicted
What?
the London fire of 1666. And there was actually like a math problem
I heard
in his
you start that
quatrain.
fire.
So I think it was a cow. But it was
Oh, there is cow. Yeah, she's all like, "Oh, down with the crown!"
So anyway, I thought it'd be kind of fun to take a look at some of the ones that they're attributing, some of those quatrains that they're attributing to this particular year, and see how maybe likely they are. Should we dig into this?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh,
All right. So the first one is that a failed economy that could lead to cannibalism.
No, jeez.
Yeah, he predicted that humanity may face the threat of cannibalism due to a failing economy, and this is what he wrote: there are no abbots, monks, no novices to teach. Honey will cost more than candle wax. The price of wheat will be high. Man will be agitated and eat his friend in despair. That's what he wrote. And I don't know how they attribute it to 2023, but that's...
Do you really think it's cannibalism, or could it be other things?
Well, I mean, he ate his friend.
You know, this one almost sounds like it could have been a prediction of the past too. You know, like say China during the Cultural Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at, you know, there are no abbots, monks, no novices to teach because the Chinese had cracked down on Buddhist monks.
Yeah.
And then there was cannibalism during the Cultural Revolution because of mass starvation.
Well, there's been cannibalism throughout history, right? I mean,
But reading this
Maybe
and
not on
trying to
a
look at it from a
Yeah,
2023
no,
perspective.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, looking at it
Egg on
from
a stick.
well, I mean, looking at it from a 2023 perspective, you know, Republicans could probably say this is Nostradamus telling us
Right, inflation
that,
is so high.
that Joe Biden's going to make the economy fail.
We got to start eating Democrats. I'm starting with AOC myself if I have to eat it. Anyway,
Yeah, she's on the other coast,
that
though.
was a
jeez.
whole nother.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so can anybody see?
I don't know, but it's fascinating. I don't know. I mean, are we going to talk about prophecy in general, or just Nostradamus?
Whatever.
Because what did the church think of it? Was he ever canonized or anything like that?
No. He wasn't affiliated with the church.
No, he was. In fact, I think didn't the church think he was a heretic?
Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
That's
why
way
he
more
wrote things in quatrains, because he didn't want to be killed by the church.
It's just a poem,
Right.
dude.
He didn't want you know the local rulers or the church to start thinking, oh, they're right. He's writing about me.
Or, you know,
keep the bag, bro. Keep the
Yeah.
bag.
You know, he didn't want them thinking that he was a witch or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right, well, the second prediction for 2023 is that there is a great war about to happen. So one line in the Mystic's book that stands out in particular, it reads, 7 months of great war, people die because of evil, but their light will not fall into the hands of the king.
would that be the Ukraine?
Well, it could be. It could be the, Ukraine start of it, but as Bailey and I talked about this the other day, the Ukraine conflict's been going on longer than 7 months, right?
Yeah, we're coming up on a year in February.
You could almost see Putin as the king, right? Russia.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
well,
mean, that's a ruler, so yeah.
He's a ruler, but I mean, he'd be a regent because a king is, he doesn't have the bloodline to be a king.
Well, he has an autocratic ruler.
He's not a great ruler.
Well,
Yeah, but
this is
aren't
the thing,
these supposed to be, you know, families
Nostradamus
that
is
are
writing-
handpicked by?
Sure.
That's how they get
Nostradamus
away
is
with it.
writing from what he knows, and in his lifetime they were kings. You know,
Yeah,
the,
he might not
the leader
understand.
of a country was a king. So
Sure.
in his mind, they were kings.
Yeah, because of the word autocrat wouldn't have meant anything. would it?
Yeah. But, I mean, we've seen the Ukraine conflict continue. Russia's growing a little bit, probably more desperate. So do they get Belarus involved, which might get Poland involved, which
Yeah,
might
or
get...
just really do like a dirty bomb or something.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the breadbasket of Europe and Africa.
Yeah.
They could mobilize. I heard rumors that they're looking at mobilizing, or there was a, sorry, let me back up. There was a story about a patriotic women's group. It's like the mothers of deceased soldiers or
This
something.
is the Russians.
Yeah, it's on the Russian side, and they're calling for Putin to mobilize like 1.5 million more men for the war in Ukraine. And we're looking at, if you're mobilizing 1.5 million, you're looking at, you know, some Great War
Yeah.
level mobilization there.
But that's also, I mean, all the humanitarian grossness aside, it's really expensive,
Right.
right? All those guys got to eat, get moved around, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, it's a terribly expensive thing, and I think the longer it goes, he's going to have to get desperate because he's going to run lower and lower on money. He's selling oil to China,
Yeah.
right? But,
He's
Well,
buying,
in
like North
India.
Korean weapons and stuff. too.
yeah, but not for long, right? Not really. It's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
Because they've got other sources, and they'll lowball that guy in. That's the trouble with these guys, is none of the above mentioned really worry about playing by the rules, right? They'll go to whatever benefits them immediately. They're not looking any, China obviously has a long mission, you know, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't just hunt down a quickie target. Right, if Nigeria wanted to sell them oil for $50 a barrel, there'd be no reason they couldn't do it, right? It's like,
We're talking to Venezuela again about buying oil from them.
yeah, but their oil's the shittiest, dankest.
Really?
It is. It's like just like tar sands oil. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. It takes so much processing, so many kilocalories to turn it into something we can actually
Too
use.
much refining.
It's just dumb.
Huh.
We gotta
I
stop.
didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, no, it's just shit. It's not
Yeah.
like the sweet crude that we get out of Texas or Souths or whatever. That's the stuff that you don't have to really monkey with as much. But it's like that gross tar shit. Just leave it in the fucking ground.
Yeah. No
It is
drill.
so dumb. It is
No
so
baby. No
absolutely
drill, baby.
inefficient, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the Great War. I mean, he could have been talking about China invading Taiwan and that setting
That's
off.
true.
Because that will be
Yeah.
the World War III scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of things. I mean, even in Kosovo right now, the ethnic
Right.
Serbs are starting to close up roads and create roadblocks and stuff. I mean, who knows if that would kick off again?
Yeah.
You know,
Balkans are always the start.
always going to be. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Just the last couple.
yeah.
Yeah. Oops. Archduke whom?
The third prediction for this year, people feel like it might relate to the British royals, right? And he wrote, because they disapproved of his divorce, a man who later they considered unworthy, the people will force out the king of the islands, a man who will replace him who never expected to be king. So, Prince Charles, maybe? I mean, divorced Diana way back in the day. Diana was pretty popular. I don't think any of that really matters anymore, right?
Maybe they're talking about one of his boys, the one that
Could be, could be.
the one that stepped away from the royal family.
I mean, there's a lot of, I don't follow the
I don't remember
royals
which one that
enough.
was, though.
Harry.
I think that was the younger of the
Yeah,
two boys.
Harry and Meghan.
Meghan, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know because the whole thing is if Charles dies, then it goes to William, and then if William dies or abdicates for some reason, it'll go to his children.
George, right? The little
Yeah, and then
it go to the younger brother. So he's got nothing to worry about, is what I'm hearing. He can just live his life and not have to.
I think that's probably why he
Yeah,
stepped
he
away
can
from
get on the
royals, he wasn't
Epstein
ever gonna get the
plane
crown.
like Andrew and do whatever he needs to do. Go hang out with.
No, and Johnny Rotten was calling out Andrew like 35, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like people knew about Andrew, didn't do dick.
Yeah.
Isn't he the one that recently got in trouble or something?
We'll see about that.
Well, Andrew was the royal that was hanging out with
Epstein?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hanging out on the Lolita Express.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy. So I mean, plausible. Sure. Don't know what
and
exactly.
there's plenty of royals on the planet still, remember? So
That's true. I mean, you got the Thai
Yeah.
family. You got
Yeah.
the Cambodia has a king.
Yeah. Japanese emperor.
Japanese emperor. Heck, you got a lot.
I mean, if we're talking just islands, it could be Japan.
Do,
Could
do,
be
the,
Japan.
do the royals actually do anything with government, or are they just basically figureheads?
They're mostly figureheads. There are some things. I read years ago that the newly elected prime minister has to go in front of the sovereign and get approval to become the prime minister. And I don't know if the sovereign, back then Elizabeth, now Charles, could say, yeah, no,
I'm
you're
sure
not
they
it.
yeah.
And maybe not be. I don't know if that's ever happened in British history.
So they have a lot more power than a lot of people think that they do, but it's more or less like they'll never use those powers, because I don't think the government would, or the elected government would actually follow those directives.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd have to look up. You'd have to
That's
look
the
up
only
what
real
those.
power that I know of, other than controlling a massive fortune and
There's
tons
that.
of property.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the real estate empire.
Yeah, public dominion and such, right?
Yeah.
People really like their rulers sometimes.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You know what I mean? You're swimming through poop, and waving to Pharaoh. You know what I mean? In his golden chariot.
Well, when
it's bizarre to me.
Elizabeth
It's like,
died,
thank God
they had
for
miles
that.
and miles of mourners that were waiting to see her. They would wait hours and hours and hours to just walk by the casket.
Yeah, and I can't say for anybody else's experience what these people or symbols or whatever mean to them, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to, disparage, symbols or
The one or
whatever.
two British people I know.
But in the end, I just don't. A lot of times, I don't really get it. They punk rock.
I think the royals.
Save the queen.
I think the royals are to
Yeah, Johnny got stabbed for that.
They're basically like what celebrities are to us,
Yeah.
People care about their favorite celebrities, like
It's the same phenomenon. It really is. Yeah. Yeah, Britney Spears and Pharaoh are cousins, right?
pretty
It's
much.
it's an interesting phenomenon for humans. Because I don't think raccoons do that, right? Raccoons have famous fucking raccoons, and they're like, he's the best, or whatever, you know what I mean?
He should rule us, and
Yeah.
all of his descendants will rule us after.
Just because they were born really lucky, right? It's like, I just go, whoa, you back up a little bit there. You get half of my crops that I blood, sweat, and teared over, right? Just because you're a lucky sperm, a luckier sperm than I was.
Yeah.
No!
Yeah. But I mean,
Not
it's
into
easy,
it, bro.
it's easy for us to dismiss it, but
Yeah.
because we were born in the United States with
Thank you.
Republican
Red, white, and blue.
values and
Yeah. And nobody's born better, right? It's kind of an idea, besides the Calvinists or whatever, but you know what I mean? It's like, nobody outranks anybody here. Ideally, right?
Well, I mean,
Well,
unless you have money.
yeah, ideally, absolutely. Unless you're Trump and you won't
Because
get
that wasn't-
prosecuted
yeah.
for anything.
Oh, that's why I said unless you have money. Then
Yeah,
you
it's
can
the army
do
of
anything.
lawyers that keep prosecutors away.
Yeah.
So,
All right, well, another prediction from our friend Nostradamus was that heavenly fire when the lights of Mars go out. And so a lot of people are thinking that this is alluding to somebody like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos trying to get a rocket or a first person to Mars, right?
yeah.
That a major accident might have, like the rocket ship might blow up or whatever.
We'll have another
Derail
another
the
shuttle.
Challenger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
But yeah, maybe with a radioactive payload or some kind of thing. Right?
yeah, that would be the scary, because if you look at it too, if you look at what he wrote, yeah, you could read it as spaceship going to the planet Mars, or you could think about it as Mars, the god of war, and heavenly
yeah.
fire.
You keep coming back.
I mean, yeah.
I'm just spitballing here, but
God of War, yeah. I mean,
because the Russians.
We can't ask him, right?
Well, you know, because it's scary. The Russians are using white phosphorus munitions on villages in Ukraine that are causing large-scale fires.
Wow.
So,
we did in Iraq as well.
Yeah.
It's a dick move. Yeah, geez, I don't know, but that's, I don't know, heavenly fire.
It's one of those very vaguely written.
Everything
could be just about anything.
I mean, I feel like and I've never been to one. I probably should go because it just might be a hoot.
Burning Man?
But
Let's do it.
would be to go to a psychic, right? And do like a palm reading or a crystal ball or the tarot cards or whatever. But I feel like that's kind of the thing, right? You keep it vague enough but interesting enough, right? Keep it interesting but vague enough.
Let them make the connections in their head based on the very vague information you're giving
Like
them.
seeing a dragon in a cloud, right?
Yeah.
It's not an actual dragon, but our minds make mistakes.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's probably aliens.
And it could have been. It could have been aliens that came down and gave him this information. Or he could have licked a toad, right? I mean, we don't know.
And time doesn't work the way we feel
really
it does,
interesting
right? That's
mushroom
the deeper
sandwich.
truth is time is not a linear thing. We experience, because of what we are,
Right.
our collection of atoms, experiences time in a linear fashion, kind of, but that isn't the reality of it.
Yeah.
That's a tiny perceived reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, time works different in space.
Yeah, no,
for
it's bonded.
instance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows? And I really try not to dismiss prophecy offhand, right? Just because there's no real way to quantify it, but that doesn't
There's
mean
no way to prove it.
the universe is far more mysterious than can be quantified.
Oh, absolutely.
right? So that's just, so I'm not going to dismiss it, you know.
Yeah. One for climate change. Quote, the dry land will dry up even more, and there will be great floods when you see the rainbow.
Jeez, California right now.
Yeah.
Could have been Pakistan last year.
So
Yeah.
someone
Oh,
send
it's
them,
awful.
somebody order a giant pallet full of Skittles and send it to somebody.
Yeah, a flood of, to Marshawn. Send them to Marshawn.
There you go. The last one I've got for this year is, quote, sooner or later you will see great changes made, horrors and terrible revenges.
Oh, come on. That is the most vague one on
Hey,
this list.
come on. So a lot of people are attributing this to, the people rising up. So if you take a look at maybe Iran with the headscarf riots that are still happening, as far as I know.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. Just people all over
Maybe
the
it's
world.
referring to Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda. I mean,
You know?
we got people
Well,
bombing
and
friggin'.
we are pushing back right now and losing to autocracy,
Yeah.
right, worldwide, right? I think now the number of people living in non-democratic places is the highest it's been since the fall of the Soviets, right? So it's like, that's the vigilance that everybody, keeps talking about. It's not whether or not the government's going to ask me to wear a face mask in the middle of a pandemic, right? It's just the fall of rule of law, right? And international agreements upon rule of law. And just the rise of dicks. Fuck, we got to knock it off. We've been through this way too many times. And this shouldn't be humanity's default setting. Because I think early on, back in the, before the Gilgamesh years, right? We were tribal and, typically like menstrual calendars, right? And 28-day calendars so that we knew when women could have babies and blah, 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 follow the herds. And then we discovered pottery and started hoarding shit, made up like kingly nonsense, you know what I mean? And so ever since then, it's been a fight for, the artists and creators of the world and the douchebag,
Why do we fall back on that
I don't
position,
know.
right?
I
Why
don't know.
do we look at autocracy?
It's comforting in some ways.
To have other people just
Let Big
take
Daddy
care of
make
it for
that.
you?
Yeah.
Well, in a lot of places around the world, having democratic institutions, what you end up having is a lot of bureaucracy, and under autocracy, go ahead, like, we're going to spend this much. That being said, there's still corruption, there's still things that go wrong within autocracy, but I feel like government moves a lot faster.
Well, sure, there's no opposition, right?
Yeah, there's no opposition.
Or limited opposition.
Sure.
And
But they also don't last, typically. right? That
Yeah.
type of like Mussolini style.
It goes
Not the
through
trains
phases.
run. Yeah, it goes through phases.
It goes through phases, and yeah, I don't know.
Alright.
Like, but just reading this one, like I just thought of something too. Is there's an impending invasion into Rojava, Syrian Kurdistan, where the Kurds live, by Turkey. So that could be the terrible
Sure can.
the terrible revenges.
Yeah.
What is it about the Kurds that makes those other countries so friggin' crazy?
Well, they're the largest nation, or the largest nation without a country.
Without a country, without borders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember how many millions of Kurds there are in the
Yeah.
world, but
Yeah,
it's
'cause
in
that
the
was
tens of
the
millions.
First World War, when we first chopped up the map, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Woodrow
They got
Wilson.
skipped.
Well, actually, Woodrow Wilson pushed for an independent Kurdistan.
Huh. And I
And-
think, also we should have in northern Iraq at the end of the last war.
Right.
Yeah.
Way to
Right.
simplify things, I think. Well, not simplified, I mean, look what happened to Israel and Palestine.
Fuck you, Sykes.
Whole nother discussion for another
It
day.
is. And,
What do you-
and for every oppressed Kurd out there, there's some Yazidi getting his ass kicked by him.
Sure.
Right, so it's like there's always one other ethnicity who's even got a tinier voice.
Yeah,
right.
You know, it's like,
Yeah, yeah. What do you guys think about these predictions? I mean, is this, you feel like he did a good job predicting?
you know, I like to go and really like study
Yeah.
and see who did the translating as well.
That's another thing too, is the
'Cause I've got
translations can be.
5
pretty-
copies of the Tao at home, each
Yeah.
by a different translator. You know me, and all in English.
Yeah.
So there's an imperfection right there, but and each one of them definitely has a different flavor to it. Because
Yeah.
I think the translator gives something.
And it's also 450 years ago.
Well, that's the thing.
yeah.
I mean, I just read an article about Mary, mother of Jesus, that the literal translation from the original writings from the book of Luke, I think, which was the very first gospel written, like 143 AD, that the word used for her was the word that translates to slave, right?
Okay.
But nobody else sort of picked up on that. They never made her out to be a slave. But if you think about it, the Jewish folks back then, the Hebrews, probably majority, I mean, Rome worked off of slave labor, right? That was their economy, right? So it's very possible that she could have actually been, quote unquote, a slave, but nobody's ever translated that as that before. But that word still shows up. So when that word shows up, and I forget what it is, it'll come to me in a minute, but when it shows up for a man, they automatically make him a slave. But when it shows up for a woman, it maybe just sort of means second-class citizen or something different, right?
Houseman.
Yeah. Anyway, translations are funky.
Yeah, because
When it translates to dishwasher,
Maybe.
You can always use a good dishwasher.
All right, Nostradamus. I don't know, man.
I think they're interesting, but
They're interesting. I don't put a ton of faith into
Yeah.
it, but I think it's fascinating, you know. And
I think they make for really bad science fiction movies on the Sci-Fi Channel.
on the Sci-Fi Channel
Nice.
or on the History Channel,
Yeah.
gives them another
Oh
hour.
yeah,
or
there's
something
lots
to
of
talk
science
about.
fiction
Yeah.
on in fantasy on
Nostradamus.
the
And I mean, you know, predictions I've made in years past, I'm not that great, but I did see this crazy split in the Republican Party. There's a moral majority. I did call that one.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of what else I've been accurate on. Not a lot.
No worries.
It's like
no
psychics. I'm getting a reading. You had an uncle named John.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that guy from the Sci-Fi Channel who did all those readings on TV.
Yeah.
I lived with a family back in the early 90s. Bailey's mom and I did before.
So
he
the
was
late
born.
1900s is what you're saying.
Yes, and at one point, the husband, who shall remain nameless for now, decided to become one of those phoning psychic persons who call him and he'll read your fortune.
$25 a minute.
$25 a minute, whatever it was, $5, $5.99 a minute. And the very first time that he logged in, I don't remember what you have to do. I think you just dial a number, they put you in the queue, and then they sent calls to you. Well, his phone rang because somebody was looking to get their fortune, get the lottery numbers or whatever it was. aircoins they were trying to get, and his 8-year-old or 9-year-old daughter answered the phone.
Oh,
and I'm thinking,
man,
this son of a
that's
bitch that called is paying $5.95 a minute, and he's like, hello? What, who are you? Who is this?
Daddy!
Yeah.
But that's as far as the psychic network stuff went for me. Yeah.
Did he call himself Cleo?
He did not call himself Cleo. I don't know if he had a phone stage name
Yeah.
or anything, but I'm doing air quotes. I don't know why I'm doing air quotes.
Well, there's
Yeah.
video. People who are watching the
Sure,
YouTube
sure.
channel and
But yeah,
Facebook.
funniest thing I ever saw, and I did witness him actually sitting there trying to talk to somebody and be like, oh, the Karnak, right? The Johnny Carson, let me,
Oh, yeah. Great. Yeah, Karnak or, yeah, great. And didn't he end up making those, like, energy, getting rid of bad juju energy cubes? You know what I'm talking about?
Who was this? Carson?
Yeah, last crash?
Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Did you just say that?
You didn't hear that, did you?
Yeah, it was
Well,
very,
if that-
it was very faint.
I don't know where that guy is
Probably
these
not.
days.
No, me neither. I sure enjoyed it. I really did.
Yeah.
But yeah, some kind of, not ozone, like it was a Oregon, O-R-G-O-N-E. It was like a bunch of copper and resin and all this stuff that kind of got rid of bad.
Basically his version of like the healing crystals
Yeah.
and the essential oils.
Yep.
No.
So,
And
and,
goop.
and
Don't
I
forget goop.
think, and there's plenty of real
Don't forget goop for
evidence
your
to show
pupils.
that belief can cause all sorts of positive or negative physiological changes, right? It's like, just it's interesting.
We're talking the copper socks, the copper lines, or the little.
No, but something
wristband.
similar to
But
that.
something similar.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
The Russell Wilson Miracle Water, right? Did
Is
you hear
that
about
Miracle
this?
Water?
Yeah.
No.
He was injured a couple of years ago, not when he was still with the Seahawks, and he was hawking this Miracle Water. I don't remember what the water was called. It was like a
Is that why they
energy
traded
water or something. What was it?
No, I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
and when he got injured, he came
It's the
back
high
right
pH.
away. He's like, he attributed it to drinking this water that he was actually
It
a
was called
partner in.
fluoride.
Was it fluoride? No.
Yeah.
We all
Three
got
times
the
the fluoridation.
It sounds like a story my Amma told me.
Okay.
She claimed till the day that she died that drinking dark sodas cured her cancer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Huh? Good
So like
for her.
your
Yeah.
Coca-Cola or your
Coca-Cola.
Dr.
What
Pepper.
was it?
Yeah.
Was it the caramelization? Well, I mean, what
I
was
don't
the
know.
dark soda? What
I
was
have
it?
no idea.
No idea. It was just
But
your-
the power of belief is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and there really can be physiological changes
Yeah.
brought about by
Placebo,
just
man.
belief systems. It's
Placebo.
fantastic.
Yeah. Let me just say that Bailey could write a book. I think he might even be working on it already.
I keep talking about it. I wanna write a book called 25 Crazy Ass Stories My Amma Told Me. An
That's
eclectic collection of
fantastic.
stories of
Hey, just-
of Seattle or something.
Yeah.
Bailey, all you gotta do is start up a Twitter page and you can be like that guy who had a TV show, the shit my dad used to say.
Oh, okay, yeah. I could do that.
And just randomly post random quotes from grandma and just, of course people will just say, you're just doing what that guy did with his dad.
Yeah.
Well, no idea is really all that original anymore.
Well, we skipped over this earlier, but I know we're chatting, and I don't mind the time. But you guys want to do a random question, or would you like to do something awesome to share? What do you guys got? What do you?
Either or both, I don't care.
Either or both. Want to do a random question around the room?
Do it.
Start with Bailey.
Start with
Random
Bailey.
Calrissian.
All right, Bailey, you got to ask somebody a random question. I gotta look up some of the questions I read.
I don't have any written down. I'll think of something off the top of the dome.
All right, Todd. Tell me, it has to be a question. Can I just ask?
Any question?
Okay.
Anything, just random.
Whatever.
What was the craziest moment that, or just asking questions is hard. I guess where I'm trying to go is tell me about the, or here, I'll start over.
Finish a thought. Yeah.
I have a hard time with finishing thoughts.
I can tell. It's okay. I have the same problem.
All right. Have you ever had an experience where you saw your life flash before your eyes?
Where I saw my life flash before my eyes.
And if you have, tell us the story.
Nothing dangerous anyway. I mean, I've had moments where I had flashes of, things that have happened in the past, kind of in the moment, like, oh, this reminds me of that kind of thing. But nothing where all of my life experiences like flash in front of my eyes. It's more or less just like, I'm like a deja vu moment where I think I've done this before, and I'm trying to think remember this from before, and was I in this exact spot before, and I'm having this like I've been here before kind of thought. But I've had those a few times in my life actually. I think the first time I had like a deja vu moment was when I was riding my bike as a kid. I was like 8 or 9 years old. I was riding my bike and just like I had this flash of like I've done this exact thing, this exact kind of feeling on my bike on this part of this street before. And I'm like 8 years old. When did I ever do that? Kind of thing. So yeah, I've had those kinds of moments, but nothing dangerous. I've never done anything. At least not enough for me to have a flash. I mean, I'm 51, so it's possible anytime in the next few years I could probably do something that will cause me to have like a.
I'm hoping this weekend, bro.
I'm hoping that never happens.
Oh yeah.
But aren't the deja vu moments crazy? Like I think those are examples of the glitches in the Matrix.
Yeah, I've heard people say that. Like, well, that's a line from the movie actually.
Yeah.
The glitches in the Matrix is why people have deja vu. The whole like we're living in a simulation is like, if I'm living in a fucking simulation, someone needs to do a firmware update because this is bullshit. Yeah.
I have deja vu every morning. It's like, woke up, rolled out of bed, dragged a comb across my head.
I actually have a version of that song where Peter Serafinowicz, the actor, do you know who he is?
Yeah,
he was the Tick on Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he was also the voice of Darth Maul. But he did his own version of that song where it just goes on for 3.5 minutes of him talking like that, singing like that. It doesn't go into the rest of that song. I have it on my computer at home. I'll send it to you. It's really funny.
All right, Todd, hit somebody up with a question, a random question.
All right.
Random.
All right, sir. Tell us your earliest memory of your dad embarrassing the absolute shit out of you.
The earliest?
Or the worst time your dad embarrassed you?
Every day.
I think that's more a job for my mom, but.
Whichever parent. I said your dad because he's
not
right here. I want to see him.
No,
I know. We don't got to bring her into this. Man, when did you embarrass me, Dad?
Do tell.
And how did you handle it?
Oh.
Is that his bris? I mean, look at this guy! Look at him!
He's so gifted. That's his left foot.
And if you have memories of that, I feel
it's a gift.
Yeah.
God, that's hard.
The last one you can think of, anyhow. How about that? Let's make it easy.
Spontaneous.
You don't embarrass me that much.
Thank you. That's nice. Yeah,
well,
I'm
it's a good answer to give while your dad's sitting 10 feet across from you.
He's got a copy of the will in his hand.
I went to, Bailey was National Guard for a while. And he had to go to Fort Bragg?
Fort Benning.
Benning, Georgia. And I went for his boot camp graduation. And all of his Army buddies could not believe that this gentleman came from this gentleman. Was that embarrassing?
No, like that's never
kind of funny.
Yeah, that's never really an embarrassing thing. I mean, when we go out, if it's just us as the family, it's like it's like, oh, we have all these pasty white folks, and then there's me, right? Like I have the half sister that's you know, ginger.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I think, to a lot of folks, but
Her mom is a ginger, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that didn't come out of nowhere.
And this was all red at one point.
yeah, like I obviously look a lot like you, but I got like my mom's dark features for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that like the most embarrassing thing my dad ever did was yell for me from the other side of Safeway.
That's awesome.
Everybody knew who I was because, well, for one, I'm like, God, and I'm the one who looks embarrassed, so therefore it has to be taught, you know, kind of thing.
I get yelled at, but this is like a phenomenon that I think us in this group, the three of us in this age group, we used to go to the dump a lot with our dads. Did you guys do this?
No.
Had to go. It felt like every weekend, but at least once a month, we had to go to the dump, right? The transfer station. And I remember going there one time in the green station wagon that my dad had, and I don't know if I just wasn't moving fast enough or I was just being a crappy preteen or whatever, not helping. Friggin' yelled at me hard at the dump, and all the other dads were like turning around and kind of giggling to themselves that this, like, they wanted to yell at their friggin' kids, right? And they were like, get that little son, you know? And I just remember, oh my God, because everybody was watching, right? And I just felt like, oh,
Well,
thanks, Dad.
to answer your question though, Todd, I did think of something.
Oh,
Okay.
So you remember? So Dad, you remember when we went out to Ohio?
Yes.
That I had a lot of embarrassment on that trip. Not necessarily because of you, but because he brought me out there because we stayed with his girlfriend at the time, and and I felt like a lot of things went wrong on that trip.
It did go wrong on that trip.
And I felt very embarrassed because I don't know who the fuck decided to put carpet in their bathroom, but she had carpet in her bathroom.
Man, that's a red flag right there, bro.
And like around the toilet and everything. Like who the fuck does that? And no, it's because she was living, you know,
Single lady
living alone.
Cats, kind of a not cat lady, but yeah.
But
more than one cat is
totally missed the mark and hit the carpet when I went to go pee.
It happens.
And I think I tried to cover it up with a towel or something because I didn't know what the fuck to do, and I was embarrassed, and I didn't want to make a fool of you.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all done something similar.
And then the other thing that happened was I remember waking up and walking out of the room that I was staying in, and her cat comes running out of the laundry room with a shopping bag around its head, and
yes, and I remember that she like accused you of doing. I was like, no, my son.
I mean, I was right there, like when it came running out, but
my cat would not put its head in the shopping bag, and I'm like, but my kid wouldn't try to strangle the cat with the shopping bag.
Yeah, I was in the 4th grade.
Is this where you admit you actually put the bag on the cat's head?
No. I was deathly afraid of cats at the time.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe he got near that cat. I don't think that cat was so skittish that I don't think you could have got within 3 feet of it.
And I might have actually scared the cat just by coming out of the room or something.
Probably did. They probably ducked behind the washing machine or something and got the bag on its head or something.
Yeah, but the cat was fine.
Everybody's fine. And to Bailey's defense, is she did not have kids, never wanted kids. Had no use for kids and all that stuff, and she was trying to be, let me try to accept your kid and see if we can make this work. But I don't think she had ever any real intention.
Wow.
Well, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
More power to her and whatever her lifestyle is.
And I'm making a total generalization here, but it's generally speaking, it's harder for single dads to find love with a single woman, as opposed to single man finding love with a woman with kids.
Although I will say that
total generalization.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a single guy, if you want to find yourself a woman, get yourself a small dog and go for walks.
Yeah.
That works.
Or borrow a baby.
Yeah, or have a little kid. So yeah.
It worked for me.
But,
Borrow the baby.
No, I didn't borrow the baby. I just brought my dog.
so as far as like
I'm out here stealing babies.
as far
Hey,
as
kid.
the cat and the Safeway bag thing goes, I have a story that's something similar, but my friend actually did do this to his mom's cat.
Oh man.
He goes, hey Todd, you want to see something really funny? I think, of course, I always like to see something funny because I like comedy. And he's like, check this out. He grabs a Safeway bag, a twisty tie, is petting the cat, and as he's petting the cat, he's slowly tying the bag to the cat's the tip of its tail. As he's petting the cat, and then he puts the cat down, and as soon as he puts the cat down, the bag makes a noise. The cat hears the noise and freaks the fuck out and starts running around the living room. And the more he moved, the more the bag made noise.
Yeah.
And us being like 14, 15 years old at the time, we both giggled like little boys because it was funny at the time. Today I'm like, God, I would never do that because that's causing trauma to that poor cat.
That's cruel, right? Yeah.
You know, but yeah, so yeah, I've seen that thing happen before.
And the only time cruelty for comedy is okay is a football to the nuts.
Yeah.
Or any kind of ball to the nuts.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the kind of cruelty I can get behind.
because balls are trash.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Just sitting around doing terrible things to my dog with a fork. Right.
Steve.
Or telling your dog to play catch with a 9-volt battery and watching it freak out because it got bit by a battery and barking at the battery because it bit him.
Good Lord, what kind of childhood did you have?
These are all my friends that did these things. I was just there going, wow, dude, I can't believe you're talking to me.
Yeah.
And the dog barked at that battery for 10 minutes straight.
Mike, I got a question for you.
Hit me.
Dude, what's a guilty pleasure of yours? Like, is there a band that you like Celine Dion?
Well, for me, it's and I make no apologies, and I fist fought people about this, but I compare Enya to Beethoven.
Oh.
Take that. And I'll fight motherfuckers. I really
I
will.
can totally see that.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to Enya in like 25
I
years.
think it's
but-
brilliant. Absolutely nonstop. Throw some headphones on and listen to some Enya.
I know she has musical instruments. And I don't mean this in a negative way, is her vocals nonsense or is it actually words?
It's Gaelic.
Is it gay? Okay.
Yeah. It's just not English.
It's not English, yeah.
But, no. She's not.
What's your stance on
All
the
right,
random
Michelle.
I don't really, except for, I don't know.
One
much
album
of
that
it.
she had that was pretty popular.
Yeah, the big record. But other than that,
Yeah.
Enya's just very transcendental. It's cool.
Yeah.
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 I
I
guess
can
it's not
totally
really
see,
guilty
like you
pleasure,
said,
but,
throwing the headphones on, getting
it's
comfy.
amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
And the layering, and she does that, and then her, I think, husband or partner writes the lyrics.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but it's been the same two people the entire trip.
She does have an amazing voice.
Yeah, and it's just very ethereal, and they use, for many years in my life, I was an absolute and utter stuck-up purist about stuff like that, where it's like layering, studio tricks, all that kind of stuff. It's just like, I wanted raw.
You're the
hard,
DIY
right?
punk
yeah,
rock.
just throw it out there, because it's
Yeah.
a frozen moment anyway,
Yeah.
right? But as I've aged, I really do see the value in that. Just like I didn't see the value in theater like I do today, right? That it is a type of mythology, etc. So
Yeah.
the fact that you can go into a studio and do 48 tracks, and nowadays a gazillion, it doesn't matter, it's limitless, but
Yeah.
it's amazing to me. And it especially if you can weave all of that together, and it's not just...
I'm gonna have to look it up, but Rolling Stone, who's known for their top list, top guitarist, rock and roll guitarist,
Right.
they did a top 500, I think, singers in history, in recording history. But I don't know if Enya made the list. I would assume she did. I know the ones I saw was, I think, Eddie Vedder of Seattle's own came in at like 105. But I also saw that they left off the list Celine Dion. They left off Cher.
What?
I mean, is it more rock and roll?
No. This is like, I'm assuming this is all. But they left off Jennifer Hudson. Do you know who Jennifer Hudson is?
Yeah, American Idol, right?
American Idol,
Oh.
but she was she was in the Aretha biopic
Yeah, she
that
played
came
her-
out a year or two ago.
Did you
She
say
played
Aretha?
Aretha.
Aretha.
Not Aretha. Come on, Todd. Out of gutter, buddy.
That's what I thought you said. I was like, wait a minute, he didn't say that. Did he?
Yeah.
Aretha.
Sounded
how you
sussy
thinking
over there.
500 of all time?
Of all
How
time.
are you even doing that?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's,
No.
Was Lena Ford on that list?
I didn't see, like I said, I didn't see the whole list.
Or
I saw
Joan
that
Jett?
Eddie Vedder was 105,
Yeah.
and then I saw that they left off those guys, but like Carrie Underwood
Oh, geez,
and
there's
Kelly
some-
Clarkson
yeah.
made the list, but Jennifer Hudson didn't. You're like, all right, Kelly Clarkson can sing better than me, but
Yeah.
Jennifer Hudson better?
I don't know. Jennifer Hudson's really, really
Yeah.
good. And,
Yeah.
I mean,
And it could just be like, oh, we didn't think of them, so.
she was actually handpicked to play Aretha.
Aretha?
Yeah, by the woman herself.
By Aretha?
She's like, I want her to play me.
Was she alive?
Geez, that's nice.
Started?
Well, when they first started like
Talking about.
making
Oh,
the
okay.
movie, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay, did Jello be after make the list?
Who?
Dead Kennedy?
Oh,
Probably not.
I actually-
But love you, Jello.
the first time I heard that name, I was like, that can't be a real name. That's
yeah, I mean,
pretty bad.
if like Johnny Rotten or.
Oh, sure.
You
Yeah.
know,
The
No,
stage
that's not
name
exactly
or-
I'm
what
trying
we
to
had.
think who
That
else,
is birthday
right?
name
Joey
anyway.
Ramone
Yeah.
probably made those.
Yeah, we just lost one of the Kennedys. We lost.
Yeah.
Another girl, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they are smart guy punk rockers, right?
right.
Oh, you're talking about the dead Kennedys, not
Yeah.
as in the Kennedys.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Well, they die. The other
Yeah,
one
the
dies
Kennedys.
also.
I mean, fucking Chris Pratt is married to like the granddaughter of.
Yeah, Marie Shriver's daughter, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Arnold
Arnold
Schwarzenegger's daughter. Yeah, but yeah, she's the granddaughter
geez,
of.
what I
of,
didn't
of-
really think
of
about. I never
JFK's.
think about Arnold's kids. What do Arnold's kids even look like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one that he had with the maid
Looks
actually
just
looks
like him, but
just
with a
like
dark-
him.
With a darker complexion,
Yeah,
yeah. He
the
literally,
ones
this
that he
kid
had with
literally
Maria
looks like,
Shriver
Yeah.
don't look anything like
this
him.
kid literally looks like him from
Yeah.
Terminator.
And he's bulking up. He's
Yeah.
doing the whole Mr. Universe thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like me. I got the
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, famous.
His name is Franz.
Is it Fonz?
No.
Uh,
Hans and Franz.
One of my favorite photos, and thank goodness for the internet, is I think it's from Conan the Destroyer, but it's Wilt Chamberlain. I think, isn't it Andre
It had
the
to be
Giant
Destroyer,
and and Schwarzenegger? It's just wonderful because
Yeah.
he's just a tiny person comparatively.
Yeah.
In reality, especially then, he was a big dude. He's 6'3" or something, right? He's not
Yeah,
small.
Arnold, yeah, he's like 6.
Yeah, but the other dudes are just so huge that it's just unreal.
Yeah.
Is it Will
It's
Chamberlain,
impossible.
the guy that slept with 20,000 women or something?
I think 10,000. Yeah. So he
Yeah.
said, yeah.
So he said.
45,
said that.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no reason to doubt him.
And there was nobody, he did dominate the game at the time. I'm just old enough to remember that.
Yeah.
He was getting like
I-
100-point games, which was
I know the name,
unheard
I
of.
couldn't
Yeah.
pick
Up to
him out of
that
my
point.
lineup though. Yeah. In fact, I think the only basketball game that I've ever been to in my lifetime was the Globetrotters.
Which are marvelous. And if you guys have never been, you
Oh,
got it.
man.
It's a delight.
I saw them in the
Yeah, I used to
era
take my, yeah.
of the guys who were in the Globetrotters cartoon back in the 70s.
Oh, the
Those-
Scooby-Doo or the...
Yeah, those
the same
guys,
guys
Mark
that went to
Lennon
Gilligan's
and,
Island.
oh yeah.
Curly and all those
Yeah,
guys.
no, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
John Keister was one of the guys in the other team, by the way.
Okay, so there's a short story about John Keister. King 5 guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was working at, which is now O'Reilly's, but it was Shucks Auto Supply in downtown Seattle. Talking late 80s, maybe 1990. And John Keister came in and he was doing a tie-in with a Fox program. I don't remember the show, but they were going to cut to him to do a little segment. So he had the idea to come into Shucks and walk around and look at all the crap people could buy for their cars. And back then it was like friggin' neon license plate frames and
Was it for
double wiper blades.
Was it for Almost Live?
Well, it was kind of almost live, but it was a show that they were doing on Fox, and they were going to partner with the local guys here and do a segment. I can't for the life of me remember. But Keister comes in and he's walking around and they're filming, and he's like picking up like the Playboy air fresheners with the Playboy symbol. He's like, well, who buys this? And the guy that I worked with, Paul, I think he still works for Shucks. He's like the kind of guys that have a big gold eagle on the hood of their car. You know, he kind of went around the room. But when he left, they left some equipment behind. I think they left some bulbs for their camera and some other stuff, maybe some cables or something. So we called up the station, got a hold of John Keister's voicemail, and told him that he needs to bring us, because they didn't bring us anything. They didn't bring us any King 5 swag, which we were very pissed off. I was like, dude, we let you in and film, and we didn't get friggin' t-shirts or anything?
Yeah.
So he said, you gotta bring us friggin' swag if you want to get your shit back, right?
Shit.
So Keister comes in one day and he's like, oh, you guys, I brought what I could. I went into the closet and I sort of robbed it. And this is what I got for you. And he lays down, he puts down 2 sweatshirts, which I think were size small, because they didn't get fitted. He pulls out a friggin' handful of King 5 balloons, right? Puts those on the counter.
That's
and I think there was some pens. Like, dude, this is worth like 25 cents to you.
Yeah.
You're not getting your shit back for this.
Yeah.
We ended up giving his stuff back, but it was like,
Well, you know he did it on purpose, right?
I
You
don't
know he did it on purpose. Come on.
I don't know,
You guys are like, you want some swag, you're
time
gonna
to
get
bring
your
us the
shit
good
back.
stuff.
He's like, I'm not giving him shit. I'm gonna give him some balloons and maybe a bumper sticker.
Yeah. I think we made water balloons out of the King 5 balloons and chased each other around the parking lot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we got to get at it.
I watched
Lemonade out of lemons.
in the early '90s, early to mid '90s. I worked at the South Mercer Island with Albertsons, and they filmed a segment of cops on Mercer Island for Almost Live.
Yeah.
And
I think I remember that bit.
And I watched them film it. They were filming it in the
Did
parking
they do
lot.
that bit multiple times, or was it?
Oh, it was a reoccurring bit. Each time it was a different city in the greater Seattle area.
Yeah.
The best one, the one that you can find on YouTube, is the cops in Ballard. And it was Pat Cashman's voiceover that always was.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I remember them doing a bit about what a Kent man looks like. A man from Kent looks like. And it was a guy that had like a jean jacket. And
I think Sam did one of those in his Finger of God episodes.
Yeah, really Renton.
Yeah. They also did a thing for. I think that was
Where they
part
like
of.
meet their doppelgangers, basically.
I think it was a cops in Kent, because there was one of the guys wore the flannel and
Flannel,
back the ball cap.
I remember it was the ring, the chew tobacco ring. in the back of your back pocket.
Yeah.
Remember that was the thing.
Or the one that cracked me up, I think, was Cops in Linwood, and it showed a guy, basically the same guy, but he had a mullet and he was driving an IROC.
Now I had a mullet.
Sounds about right.
I can totally see you having a
I'm not
mullet.
afraid to admit, as long as my hair's ever good.
Dude, mullets are making a comeback right now, and I don't know why. I can't. Well, it's
It's like a modification of the old school mullet.
the mullets that are happening today are within the gay community, I think, and it's really weird. They're like one of the guys in the Pentatonics has a mullet, and I was like, why does he have a mullet? Is that really a thing now? And so it is like the Caesar kind of haircut. It's like really flat.
And then you have a long
And then you had long in the back, and it looks.
It's popular right
It's
now.
kind of like what what's her face from Die Antwoord has.
Yeah, hers
Yes,
is razzled up.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They're bonkers, by the way.
Yeah, they
Complete
are.
Oh, dude,
bonkernicity.
it's like this industrial / hip hop thing.
Yeah.
It's somehow.
I mean, to the beat of their own drummer.
Yeah, and the drummer is on meth.
Yeah.
And no, I was introduced to them about 10 years ago, and it was I think you're sexy and I like you a lot. Google that on YouTube. And
I think that song's called Cookie Thumper or something.
I think you freaky. I mean, either way,
They're jaybird, man. That's a rough time.
I think F-I-N-K instead of think F-I-N-K. I think you freaky.
Yeah.
Just Google that or search that.
You freaky
And I like you a lot. Yeah. And she's like,
And Chappie, the movie Chappie was written for them, basically.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yes, it's-
those her and Ninja, I think is his name. The original version, the original guy named Ninja, not the guy who's on Twitch, but he is like what, 6 foot tall, and she's like 5'2". She's tiny, and she has this super soft voice. She almost sounds like what's her name from Iceland? Björk. Yeah. She sounds like Björk. She has a very mousy voice. but when they're singing, it's really creepy. the music. Wouldn't you say that's pretty accurate? Like it's creepy.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little
This is
bit.
non-ordinary. Yeah.
It has.
It is.
And then he does like these really weird like drum. It's weird. It's like mashups of like industrial and hip hop and rock and all these other things. They're all together, just kind of thrown into this.
And they do a lot of multilingual stuff in Afrikaans and English.
and just yeah.
Are they South American?
Yes.
South African.
South African.
Yeah.
South African. If I had the A right.
Yeah. We'll edit that later.
All right,
No, we won't,
where
'cause I don't-
where are we at?
I'm not gonna look for it and edit it
Where
out.
are we at? We got the questions answered.
Yeah, I think we did.
Anybody got anything fun to share this week? I got something.
Oh,
What do you got to share?
I actually watched, and I'm going to butcher the name, is Guillermo del
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro, yeah.
Yeah,
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen this?
I started watching
I
it.
watched it with Mary.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And it is a stop motion animated thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to look that up
Yeah.
because it looks so computer animated, but he uses resin characters, right? Printed resin characters.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. No, it's really.
I-
And the first like 15 minutes are pretty fucking dark. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh boy, this
Well,
is Del
there's
Toro, all right.
dark moments all the way through.
I started
Yeah.
watching it like right before I fell asleep, and I passed right out during watching it. So I'm gonna go back and rewatch
It did take me 2 nights to watch it, but I mean, speaking of fascists and autocrats and Mussolini
that's
and
great,
stuff, it takes place between World War I and World War II.
Yeah, with the rise of
With the rise of fascism.
No, it's great, yeah, because they poke fun at Mussolini, but
Yeah.
it's very real.
Hey,
you know,
they're
and-
puppets.
Yeah, I thought it was
I
very
thought
well
it
done.
was gorgeous and
And
brilliant.
the otherworldly elements to it, I
Yeah.
thought were really well handled. The
Who
otherworldly
were
creatures,
the
sphinx,
goddesses that they had?
Well, one was death, and then
Was it just death, or
I
was
don't know
there
if she was
another?
named or not, but it was very Mike Mignola. You guys into Hellboy? Hellboy?
Yeah, a little bit.
But they're very big.
Yeah.
I think those two were friends, so and they worked together well. I think the first two Hellboy movies back in the day.
Yeah.
And those creatures had a death or Mignola.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
definitely
good. It's a
yeah.
long movie. It's a 2+ hours.
Yeah, I thought it was very well
But
done.
very well done. Very well done. The music was fun and silly, and a great cast. It has Christopher Waltz
Yeah, Chris
as
Hemsworth,
the carnival
yeah, no, he does
head.
a great job.
Ron Perlman.
is the fascist.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
And the guy who plays Geppetto is the old guy from the Harry Potter movies with the cat.
Yes.
Like the
Yep.
custodian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whose
Yeah.
name I can't remember.
And it took me a long time. I was like, I know
Yeah.
this voice.
Oh,
I
that
know
guy!
this
That
voice.
guy was the one that played. He was the one that played in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King Balon from the Iron Mans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who he did the betrayer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What a-
The Red Wedding and all that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, not King Balon. Walder Frey.
Fred. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
what it was.
That
yeah.
guy.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
guy.
Red Wedding, and then Arya
Mm-hmm.
had to take his ass out.
Tension down, yeah.
Chopped him up,
Chopped
fed
him
him
up.
to his family.
But yeah, check it
Oh,
out.
that's
Check it out
cool.
if you get a chance.
Yeah, no, it was
Very well
that's-
done.
Yeah, and he did Pan's Labyrinth and
Yeah.
Double
Yeah.
Back.
I've never seen Pan's Labyrinth. I've seen parts of it.
Oh, it's a good film.
It's
But I need to check it out.
it's subtitled. There's no English in it whatsoever.
No, that's fine.
I didn't know what happened, what those movies about. Because with my ADHD, and if the subtitles come up too quickly and then go away too quickly, my brain doesn't have time to register what it says and also be able to see what's on screen. A lot of times I'll have to watch those types of things, pause it, read what it said, and then hit play. It sucks.
Yeah, check it out. Anybody else got something to share?
If you haven't been watching either Willow or National Treasure on Disney Plus, I highly recommend both.
Is National Treasure based on the Nick Cage
Yes,
movies?
he's not involved, but yes.
Okay. So it's like
Which I've never
a
seen
serial
it, actually, yeah.
with him or with the character?
I mean, his character is mentioned in at least so far anyway, a couple episodes, and you hear somebody having a phone conversation with his character, but you don't hear his voice. So he's not in it.
Okay.
I'm not going to say who is in it, but
That's okay. I'll check it out.
I think episode 5 comes out today or yesterday. So.
Kid friendly?
Oh yeah. No, has not been any like real violence. It's on Disney Plus, so there's.
We don't worry about the violence. It's the boobies. Can't have the boobies.
Yeah. Gun stabbings.
That's all good.
It's on Disney Plus.
Torture.
Whatever.
There's not going to be any nipples or bush. So
God forbid you show the top of a woman's crack, right?
Yeah. But both shows are great.
Well, this Saturday, my favorite local band, the Heeps, Heeps, with Fred Speakman and my buddy Theo on bass. Speakman's my favorite local guitar player because he's just ridiculously, he's so good that it's just corny. He can do anything, and like when he goes into leads or whatever, he lands them every single time. It's corny. And he's a nice guy. But anyway, so that's the Heeps at Slim/Chance Chili Shack and Saloon. Yeah, down in Soda.
Yeah.
That's Saturday night.
South of the Dome.
There.
Nice. Are you going to be bringing your
My Zoom to record? Yes, because
studio?
I got to get them Michael's meanderings going. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him first.
Yeah.
But,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And also,
just stick it in
my
his face
first
and start asking
interviewee,
questions.
it works there, Dwayne from Derelicts. I think I'm going to interview that guy first just because he's a hoot.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting people. That's what it's all
Oh,
about.
sir. Yeah.
Nice.
Or we can edit it to make them seem interesting.
That's right.
I mean, the amount of post-production we do is, it's death defying. It's amazing.
And we're investing in
It is.
AI so we can copy anybody's language better.
It's all chat GPT.
I'll start making some deepfakes.
Exactly.
You know, we should actually interview that thing, ChatGPT. Just ask us some questions.
That's a great idea. I've got it on my phone. I'm fascinated with it. I really am. Yeah.
I actually thought about, I have an app on my phone that allows me to do text to voice, and then they have some voices that they don't sound robotic anyway.
Yeah, but that might be even funner, actually.
And the problem is that
working.
the problem I have with it is like if you spell things correctly, sometimes it doesn't pronounce it right, so you have to spell it phonetically for it to say things properly.
That's a slippery slope. That's how they're going to get us. That's how AI will defeat us.
We'll teach you how to speak properly.
Skynet on its way.
AI is insane. I have the Wonder app on my phone, and it allows you to make the AI generated art. So you can put in a text prompt, anything you want,
I have one
and
of those apps too, yeah.
yeah,
Not that particular one, but I have one.
yeah, and they're all very similar. You put in a text prompt, and AI tries to generate an image of what it thinks you want.
That's where the boobies come in.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you can type in like I want big boobs,
Yeah.
I want small
Lady with
boobs,
3 boobs.
I was just going to say that.
the full udder.
She's got to be green and have 3 boobs and 4 nipples. Yeah. It's going to be like the lady from Mallrats that has the extra nipple.
Oh, what was her name? Terry.
She's the one that's replaced Suzanne Summers on
Yeah,
Three's
well,
Company.
she's the one that replaced the replacement of Suzanne Summers.
Oh, that's right. There was another one, wasn't there?
Don't mess with Three's Company and me, man.
Dude.
Priscilla Barnes.
Priscilla Barnes, and she was in the '90s. She was still fucking
I have no
hot.
idea who that is.
She played Terry on Three's Company.
She was like a nurse, right?
Have you seen Mallrats with Kevin Smith?
I think she's theaters.
She's the
She's the one with the extra nipple.
Yeah.
Suck her
But
boobs
she
and
eats
nipple.
at the end, right?
Yeah,
peels it off.
she peeled. There's a piece of gum. She put it around the start
Yeah.
chewing it.
They're like, oh, my third nipple, I can tell the future.
If you haven't
It's a
seen
raisin
Mallrats,
from a
I think
Muppet.
it's on Netflix. But
Oh my God,
it's
funny.
the best scene that Banksy or Banky and the other, I can't remember the other kid's name. But either way, they go to see the
Jeremy
sidekick.
London or the
Jeremy London, yeah, it was Jeremy London's character. Either way, they go in to see this psychic,
Yes.
and she's the topless psychic, so she takes her top off, and both of them are like, they're like looking away, and just ask the questions, like, I can't, it was out like that, you know? It's just so funny. It's distracting.
I'm old enough to remember Jason Lee as a professional skateboarder.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
he started off as a
Yeah.
professional
Yeah,
skateboarder.
Plan B.
Yeah.
Which was a really,
Good
really
plan for
good
him.
team.
And then
Yeah.
And don't tell Todd this, but I think he's a Scientologist.
not
Or he
anymore.
used to be. Oh, was he?
In the last, I think, 3 years, he stepped away from the
Yeah.
church. That's right when he retired from acting. He
Yeah.
moved out of Hollywood, and was like moving out in the like Midwest someplace.
I have not seen Clerks 3, which I plan on doing very
Oh my
soon.
God.
But does he make an appearance?
No, it's just the people from Clerks. And there's no.
Oh, I thought Affleck made an appearance.
Well, Affleck did, and there was a couple other people who maybe he did. I don't think he was in it. Though. I don't remember him being in it.
Okay.
But yeah, Affleck made an appearance just because he and Smith became buds again. But if
Rosario Dawson's in it, right?
yes, without giving away any bits of the story, but all I'll say is this: if you have if you tend to get weepy in sad parts of movies, have yourself a box of tissues.
Oh, shucks. All right.
It has one or two really sad moments, and I'm like, oh man, really, Kevin? Do you have to do this?
That's Kevin's fan.
But I have to say, it's the best movie he's done since probably the last of those early movies. You know,
I still think Chasing Amy's the best, but
It's got Garofalo, that's all I know.
yeah.
I'm including that movie in that because his early movies were all comedies and they were all really funny. And the movies he's done in the last 10 years have all been horror films, and they were.
Well, I do like
Red State and Tusk.
I'll say this: Red State.
Yoga Hosers.
Yoga Hosers has elements of comedy to it.
It was funny.
It was funny.
And if you're a Smith fan, you can kind of overlook the fact that it sucks ass, but it's fun because
it's a popcorn film. It's
Yeah.
not meant to be like taken seriously. You can't go, oh, this is a. The funny thing is the bad guy, air quotes, in this, or one of the bad guys, is the kid who ended up playing Elvis in the Elvis movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's the kid from
Laz Bar.
Karate Kid.
no.
What's the new Karate Kid spin-off series?
Cobra Kai. He's not
Kai?
in Cobra Kai.
I thought he was the main kid, the Elvis guy.
Nope.
Huh.
No. He's one of the two seniors in Yoga Hosers that the girls like, and he's the one who has the terrible Canadian accent. You know, sorry about that. You know. And that was probably one of the funniest parts of the whole movie, was just the terrible Canadian accents.
Yeah.
You know, there's a sequence where the girls are they did the whole be back in 5 minutes where, you know, playing hockey on the roof, but instead of playing hockey on the roof, it's like, be right back, girl problems. But they were playing with their punk band in the back room.
What?
Yeah.
It's like 3 songs.
We're sitting here talking about Yoga Hosers.
Actually, of the newer movies, that's probably his best one of the newer ones.
Yeah.
But as far as because
Tusk was fun because it had what's his face before he died, the old guy.
Yeah.
Who played the sailor.
Yeah.
Michael. Damn it.
He was in Red State too. He was the cult leader.
Oh, that's
in Red
right.
State.
Yeah, he was in Red State.
Yeah.
I can't think of it, but yeah, amazing actor.
Michael, something. He was an amazing actor, and Justin Long was in that. He was playing a podcaster who gets abducted.
Yeah. Don't go north to interview weird people, Mike. You might end up a walrus.
Do not go with them to their house in the middle of nowhere.
Don't drink the tea. That's what it is. Don't drink the tea.
Yeah. So for those who've not seen it and don't plan on seeing it, basically he gets kidnapped, he gets drugged, he wakes up with one of his legs missing, and this guy who kidnapped him turns him into a human walrus.
Yeah. Tusks and all.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's a weird thing. They were doing a podcast, and they had people calling in for the weirdest tales that they should make a movie out of or something, and that's what it sort of morphed into.
I was listening to one of the 10 podcasts he was doing at the time that became a thing, and it was also right after he started smoking weed too. I mean,
they'll get you.
He didn't start smoking. He did not start smoking weed until he made that movie with Seth Rogen, Zack and Miri. That was the first time he ever got high.
Who? Kevin Smith?
Kevin Smith, yeah. He'd never smoked weed before that.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that's been the downfall of his movies.
And that was a cute, fun movie, too.
It was. Yeah, that was the best good movie he
Zack
did.
and Miri make a porno?
So funny.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Rogen's good.
Frosted be like a cake.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about a group of friends that need to make money, so they decide to make a porno.
Wasn't it a guy and his roommate?
The
guy and his best friend who was.
Are they gonna fall in love?
Exactly. They fall in love. And what's weird is like.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoilers. Yeah, they.
12 years ago, they fall in love.
But the thing is they go to film their sex scene, and they actually end up making love, and it's like the most boring sex you've ever seen in your life. In the moment they're having fun, everyone who's watching are like, what are they doing?
It's like the best 2 minutes of wienering she's ever received in her life.
From Seth Rogen.
Seth
Rogen.
But they do like a scene from Star Wars in it.
They were trying
different things.
They were trying to make a Star Wars themed porn, a porn parody.
Yeah.
And they you have to see the movie. I think that's on Netflix. It's definitely worth watching. For nothing else, to see like all these cameos of people in that movie too.
Yeah. And Craig, I think it's his last name. Craig, Craig is his last name.
Daniel Craig?
Craig.
Not
Daniel Craig.
Craig Robinson.
Craig Robinson.
I'm ultra rich.
Oh, he's a killer.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Hugely funny. The Pizza Hut guy. He's doing Pizza Hut.
Yeah, he kept saying, I'm going to be ultra rich. It was just so funny. Like, I'd rather be Bezos rich if I was going to be rich.
Yeah, well, I'll take over rich. That's fine.
I mean,
the one I hear today, the state of Massachusetts has an annual budget of $47 billion, which is a lot. Massachusetts is a real state.
Yeah.
Bezos is sitting on, $150 billion? It's like he can just buy 3 years of Massachusetts, do what he wants.
Yeah.
What can I do in Boston for 3 years?
I wonder, yeah.
Crazy. All right, anybody got some positivity? Positive Is that a double positive?
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
Yes. We do like you, Todd.
But do you know
messages or anything that they've come across? Anything we can share? Any quotes?
I heard something inspiring.
Oh yeah.
Let's hear it.
That at the end of the day, that if you want to make a change in your life, you're the only one that can do it, and you have to do it your way at your own pace. Don't look at other people and how they're living, and try to compare yourself.
Yeah, that is sage, because you try to compare yourself, you're just going to end up in failure.
Yeah.
That's a slippery slope. Right?
Don't compare yourself to other people. That's actually one of the things. If there's a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, I highly recommend it. It's a great book. It basically talks about perception and not comparing your struggles to other people's, because you're not going through the same thing. You know, and how they handle their things are not going to be the way you're going to handle your things. So you just got to realize that you're also doing the best you can, and just because you're not doing as well as Mike or Charles or Bailey, it doesn't mean you're not doing well. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the pacing that you just mentioned, it's at your own pace.
Yeah, I think that's an important piece. Is like you're gonna get your life is your own journey, and you take it at your own. Yeah. You decide how fast you want to go.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody tell you how to do what you need to get done.
That's what I tell my boss every day. Don't tell me what to do.
Working at my own pace, bro.
Wait a minute, I thought you were your own boss.
No. I've got 4 jobs, and one of
Only
them.
4?
One of them, I actually work for a company. So. Yeah.
Mostly, you get to work from home mostly, though.
I do work from home, and I do travel around and visit customers and clients quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not so much this week, but
not completely terrible.
Yeah.
But it
Horrible. Yeah. They pay the gas and bought the car, so.
All right. Did you get a Bugatti?
I did.
There's a G1 in Romania right now.
Yeah. Well, he traded his Bugatti for some Pinocchio, right?
Oh, nice. Well, my favorite quote, I don't know my favorite quote, but a quote I like is, democracy is based upon the belief that we get extraordinary results from ordinary people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like that, so I try to remember that.
I think that is exactly what the Founding Fathers had in mind.
Isn't it something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The best advice I can give you is never piss on your fence.
Only in
Don't
spurts.
kink shame me, Todd.
I've seen enough videos of people doing that on Reddit and passing out from the electroshock. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if you do it in spurts, then it'd be
Yeah,
okay.
if you have a fucked up prostate to begin with, you might survive. Remember
Well, as I get
Metalocalypse?
older.
You guys
Yes,
remember Metalocalypse?
love Metalocalypse.
Okay, remember when they're in the Amazon or whatever, and Murderface, of course, gets the fish that swims up the pea stream.
Oh, the urethra. Speaking of our urethra,
Yeah,
right?
oh, it's great though. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because it had to happen to Murderface. It had to. It had to.
It's because I'm fat, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that show.
Well, let's do this. You guys want to take a little break? We will end the episode here. We'll take a little break and then we'll do some bonus stuff.
Yeah,
if
all right.
anybody
Let's do
wants
that.
to tune in later.
Sounds good.
All right. Later, Gators.
And we'll go from there.
Well done, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Adios.
Thanks, guys. See you
Yeah.
next week.